Good evening, and welcome to our brand new live play stream of Fallen Kingdom, Traitors' Fate. Fallen Kingdom is our upcoming system-agnostic dark fantasy setting. For almost a year now, the once prosperous kingdom of Alidon has languished under the boot of the usurper, the Witch King Mordraine. Once a member of the King's Council and trusted advisor to the former king, Mordraine manoeuvred his pieces well before he struck. Striking bargains with witches and demons, the usurper installed those who had secret loyalties to him in half of the noble houses of the kingdom. And when the time came, those who did not bow to him vanished or were slain. Treachery and power plays are commonplace in the Fallen Kingdom, and several factions have risen against the usurper, from the King's Swan to the Ravens. But can they put aside their own differences to unite against the usurper Mordraine? Fallen Kingdom is a campaign setting for role-playing games with a dark yet heroic bent. The heroes seek not only to survive in the kingdom under the oppressive rulership of the usurper, but also to restore the kingdom to its lost glory. For our campaign in the Fallen Kingdom, we've chosen to use the Fantasy Age role-playing game system by our friends over at Green Ronin Games. You can check them out at greenronin.com. I'll be your games master tonight. My name's Brian F. Irving. I'm from Gethsemane Games and DH9 Radio. Your cast of players are Jenny Savold.
Hello, I'm Jenny. I play Sister Celeste, Sword Mage and Member of the Faithful.
Mark Savold.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm playing Sadrina, Warrior of the Faithful.
Lars Hagman.
Hello, I'm Lars. I'm playing the character Baelor, who is a member of the Guardians of Arcane Law.
Marie McGowan Irving.
Hello, I'm Marie. I play Rowena Shadowin, a weird little swamp mage and a member of the People's Freedom Volunteers.
And Ben Watson.
Hello, I am Ben. I am playing Edweird, an elven assassin, and I am a part of the People's Freedom Volunteers also.
The music that you'll be hearing is by DH9 Radio's production unit. Some may be also by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, and possibly some from Tabletop Audio. Maps are made by myself using Campaign Cartographer 3 by Pro Fantasy Software. Some of the character art that we are using is by Jenny Savold using Fantasy Character Maker by Deerin Spotlight, and many of the tokens are custom made by Hero Forge. Welcome then to the Fallen Kingdom. And when we left the party, they had made it to sorry, I'm being disturbed by a hungry cat. Typical title. They had made it to Starsreach Academy, the mage academy built onto the side of a mountain overlooking the Starswater region of the kingdom. There they discovered that the two missing mages from the Resistance moot have not returned. They've also learned that they're not the only guests at the Starsreach Academy, but that the usurper has sent an envoy, Amblev Eskew, who will be speaking before the council tomorrow, in the hopes, you assume, you've never actually seen what her petition's going to be, but you assume in the hopes of bringing the Starsreach Academy into the conflict on Mordraine's side.
Yes.
That is, I believe, where we were when we left off. Can anybody remember exactly what you were doing or what you were about to do?
Low-key, yes. I got my ass kicked by the general, or the commander.
Oh, the captain of the sword mages,
Yeah. Got the final signature, and I'm pretty sure it ended there. I think we're just preparing to meet the guy in charge of the place and then obviously go to debate.
That's right, you had collected 4 signatures so that you can present your own petition before the council, and you'd been told that your petition would be heard tomorrow afternoon, so immediately after the petition by Mordraine's envoy. No vote will be taken on either until after the both been delivered. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jenny.
The what's the name of the head mage?
The Chancellor is Ustrum.
Chancellor Ustrum. Right. I think it was, excuse me, him who. Was it him or was it one of the others who said they would scry to try and locate Fester and Wickham?
It wasn't actually him, it was the Vice Chancellor Solenica who said that you would arrange for a scrying.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's later in the day then. You've just finished collecting enough signatures to get the to get the petition heard tomorrow, and handed it into the. I think you handed it into Solenica actually, who arranged for you to be heard tomorrow. So
Yeah.
around about the same time, Solenica tells you that she has been able to attempt a scrying. Okay, Solenica tells you that she's completed the scrying under guard from several mages that she entirely trusts, because one of the problems with scrying is that you can't be aware of both where you are and where you're looking at the same time. So she makes sure the door's secure. She stations a sword mage outside and in hushed tones begins to explain to you what she heard.
Okay.
She says, I lit the candle and gazed into the black mirror. You can actually see a black scrying mirror on the wall behind you. As my perceptions shifted, I found myself in a small chamber. Its walls wooden, the windows small and barred with iron. There I saw our brother Fester. Of Wickham, however, there was no sign. She pauses and gathers her thoughts. Fester himself has been badly treated. I fear that he may be in the hands of the enemy. He was pale and wan, his face bruised, his clothes torn, and his hands manacled together. She pauses again. The image is clearly causing her some discomfort. There was one more thing. Fester is an accomplished practitioner of magic. He is attuned to the ebb and flow of its energies. He sensed my scrying, and as he did so, he spoke but a single word.
And that word is?
Veilford.
Oh. Right. Guess we're going to be heading back there at some point soon then.
Great.
Well, that clears his name of being a traitor, so. Yeah.
Veilford.
Veilford.
Yeah. And we'd not long been there either. We
You
kind
must
of.
have been within. You were right there. You were in Veilford. You must have been within a few hundred yards of him at some point, wherever he is in the town. You
Yeah,
can't
You
have
know,
been
in
far.
Veilford.
Yeah,
And the
So
wonderfully
there must only be-
efficient Sheriff Von Reichenbach
Sheriff.
really
Reichenbach.
scuppered our plans.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sneak through if we're going back to Veilford.
Because the sheriff will recognise you after your.
All of us in disguise, and they go, no, really, I'm a different swamp witch with a frog in her hair.
Just put a bow on the frog, like on top of his little head.
Maybe I could put a big bow on top of my head and the frog
Yeah.
could hide in it, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
there
good
you go,
idea.
I could look like, you know, like
Excellent disguise idea.
a flower crown full of frogs. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
battle, yeah.
So, Ben, what were you about to say there?
I was about to ask, in Veilford, there's only a few places where you could obviously hold someone captive, like with the iron barred windows and everything. So, of those places, how fortified did they look from the outside?
Well, you didn't see the whole town. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a town rather than a village, so it was.
Would we have passed it, do you think? Like the
You-
prison or the...
I tell you what, give me a perception seeing test to see if you remember seeing somewhere that fits the bill. If
Wooden
you
walls.
do, sorry, to pass you will need to score, because you're trying to think back, so I'm going to say 13 or better.
Should
Except
be
for
all right.
Edward, because he noticed something at the time. Oh, was it Edward?
was
Somebody
me. I
noticed
noticed that
something in
someone-
the town at the time, and it would give them an edge.
I noticed that we got tackled on by some people. I forgot who though, but
Yeah, it was
Not
the
tell
other.
them.
It was the merchants you originally revealed yourself to.
Yeah.
it was them.
Yeah,
Right.
the three together, the one merchant, two guards actually. So your target number's a bit lower because you look directly at the building. So yours
Well,
is
I
11.
got a
Everybody
12.
else is 13. So everybody has passed.
Yeah.
You all remember when you fled the town, you galloped past somewhere, which was a sturdy wooden construction with barred iron windows or iron bars.
Oh,
on
we
the windows.
galloped right past them.
You galloped right past them. It was the sheriff's office and jail.
Ew.
And
Right.
you-
Okay.
Does it look difficult to like break into or anything?
I mean,
You know, like in comparison to say, what's the other one called? Featherstone Keep. Is it
Oh.
on the same level as Featherstone
oh,
Keep?
no. No, Featherstone
fine,
Keep
we'll
is
get
a
'em
military fortification. This is just a sheriff's office and jail. So
Well, we kicked the sheriff's ass on the way out, so we'll be
Yeah, we
fine.
did.
You did a bit,
We
yeah.
kinda did, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to be popular, are we?
No, so you
No,
might
not
have
really.
to. You might have to have a rematch with Sheriff Reichenbach at some point, because it sounds
Yeah.
very much like he might be who has Fester.
Yeah.
And if so, you didn't just gallop past him a few hundred yards away. You were only about 10 or 20 yards from him.
Yeah, crap.
Well, if he's still there and we do have to return to get him, why don't we just break him out like in the old
Westerns.
character?
Yeah.
Have a rope
Mhm.
tied to one of the bars on the window
Yeah.
and have the horses pull.
Yeah. We totally
I'm liking
shouldn't
this
do that.
plan.
In theory, it should actually work, because the bulk of the building's actually wood. So, although you couldn't really bend the bars much that way, you could certainly tear the screws that are holding it in the wood out, or nails, whichever it is. Screws, if the guy fitting it knew what he was doing, because obviously you can more easily remove something for repair if you screw
Obviously,
it in.
if all else fails, we can just borrow our postman who can apparently rip the fucking screws off of anything.
Yes,
Or can just arcane blast the walls, seeing as it's wood.
you could possibly arcane blast the walls as well. It worked very well with the cover you were blowing up. The
Or
other
we
day.
could set fire to it.
That's not such a good idea.
No! I don't know if you know this, Ben, but humans aren't impervious to fire.
We'll have barbecue mages. You know.
Yum.
We rescued him. He's a little crispy, but he's rescued.
So that gives
Well-
you two things to be thinking about. Your presentation of the petition tomorrow, which I know I did suggest you all discuss amongst yourselves, so I know you won't have done.
Yes, we did.
Actually,
Oh, right,
I made
okay.
a group chat.
Oh, bloody
I made
hell.
a group chat.
I
did,
am
yeah.
heckin' impressed. Well done. Also,
Don't tell
you're
them
gonna
when
be-
we
you're gonna
talked
be
among
quaking.
ourselves.
you what?
You're going to be quaking in your boots when you hear our arguments, our well
Yeah.
put together and well planned arguments.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So obviously you didn't come up with them. No, who did?
We have a cunning plan.
Excellent.
Yes.
I'm pleased to hear it. Well, you've got the rest of the day to prepare, and tomorrow morning you probably are you going to go and hear Amblev's? Because there is a public gallery around the outside that you can.
Yes,
think
I
we
think we've got
should.
there and we make her feel uncomfortable by just being up there being weird.
Yeah. Just like
Fantastic.
all of us just grinning at her when
Just
she's
going,
talking.
pulling faces. Ah.
me persuading Toadie to go, Ribbit!
Yeah.
Pointing her speech.
All the way through.
Ribbit!
That'd
Did
be
you
amazing.
frog saying rubbish? No. He said ribbit. Not to think the frog could talk, clearly mental. Not fit for office, eh, Toadie?
Okay, so as you're holding this conversation in front of a rather baffled Vice Chancellor, she seems to be about to say something when she's distracted by the sound of a disturbance outside the door.
Oh.
Eventually, there's a gentle knock at the door, and the sword mage that's on guard opens the door and says, Vice-Chancellor, I'm afraid there has been an incident.
Oh God.
He kind of looks around at the others, at the rest of you, rather, trying to
Probably.
decide whether he should announce what it is in front of you.
Well, I'm just going to say what incident.
The Vice-Chancellor kind of glares at you and says, I believe that's for me to ask. But what incident? The sword mage says there's been a report of a death on the premises.
Oh.
One of the
A death?
one of the students has been found dead.
Oh.
Shit.
The Vice-Chancellor
Was it
kind of-
murder?
we don't know that as yet. The Vice-Chancellor gets up from her desk and runs over and says, then we must away to investigate, and heads off after the sword mage, and you see one of the students who's obviously delivered the message to her as well.
Should we
Oh.
join them, guys? Because
I
I just
think
want to
so.
say something here. I've got a spell called Speak with the Dead, where you touch the corpse and gain ability to speak with them. And I've not tried that spell out yet.
Yeah.
I think we should follow them. Also, I think this is really good for us because we can be like, "There's never been a death on campus." Blah blah blah.
Till we
until
got here.
Mordaine's little, no, until Mordaine's like, emissary. That's the word. Emissary got here, and look, Mordaine's already killing off students, and we can use it against them.
Well, I mean, it won't have been us because we've been seen with other members of the faculty.
No. What I'm
during
saying
that
is we
time.
can use the death of this poor
Yeah, I
student
know.
to our own advantage.
I know, but
How
we try and say,
terribly
well, it was
cynical.
us as well. So I think we should follow anyway and say,
Yeah,
unless
tho-
she says anything.
Yeah, those of you who've gamed with me a lot know that it's very rare I can go an entire campaign without introducing a murder mystery, so here we go.
Yeah! I love murder mysteries.
It's just as well, because so do I, and I keep dropping them.
I hate murder mysteries.
Do you really?
Well, tough.
No, I actually quite like them.
Well, tough, because Jenny's about to do her Miss Marple impression.
I thought
Well.
it was going to be Velma from Scooby Doo.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
Okay, so
More
you
accurate.
you follow the other three mages, the Vice-Chancellor Selenica, the Sword Mage Guard, and the student, and you run at a surprising pace. You've noticed that for a woman in a middle age, Vice-Chancellor Selenica can run continuously for longer than you might have expected, and by the time you've actually got to where you're going, the rest, like some of the rest of you, like, whew, I could do with a bit of a sit down, to be honest. Whereas this middle-aged woman's just run across the problem is, right, you've run out of the cloister on the east wing, straight across the gardens, and you're heading over to the west wing.
The
Remember
West
what
Wing
you
we
were told when you
stay out
arrived,
of
yeah.
because Mordraine's Amblev is there, isn't she?
She's stationed somewhere
I think
there.
the student, if this is murder, I think the student found something out they shouldn't have.
It's up to you. Are you going to continue to follow, or are you going to not?
Yeah.
Because you're worried
I
about
think
bumping
so
into-
because we're going with
The
her. There's
Vice-Chancellor.
other people around.
Yeah.
You know.
Plus,
Unless
would
anything
that woman necessarily know who we are? You know, we could just be another visitor.
Well, no, currently she doesn't know who you are, but that was kind of the reason you were thinking of maybe staying out of our way in the first place, was so that you
Yeah.
you wouldn't.
Well,
be...
she's gonna find out who we are tonight anyway. So
Tomorrow. When
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
when
sorry,
she
yeah.
provides her. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, you arrive at the scene where one of the porters is drained of colour and standing there. Apparently, the porter discovered one of the students' bodies when the student was reported that he'd attended none of his lectures or study groups during the course of the day. When the porter attended his room, he could not gain response, and so let himself in to investigate. He found the student, Gawain, in his bed, pale-skinned with blue cyanotic lips. At a glance, it would seem that he passed out in his sleep of
Poison.
some previously undiagnosed natural ailment, but the porter's suspicious.
Okay. Why?
He was quite a young man. He seemed to be quite fit. It's just there's something doesn't sit right. He's seen something in the room he can't put his finger on that's kind of raised his hackles a bit. There's something about the scene that's bothering him, sort of at the back of his mind, but he just can't
Okay.
put his finger on what it is.
Well, I think we should let the Vice Chancellor have a look first and then perhaps suggest our help with figuring out what's gone on.
Okay. The Vice Chancellor takes a look at the body. Let's have a your 9 intelligence test she needs for this. Healing test as well. Pretty sure she's going to be okay for this one. I'm just going to roll it with some real dice just because I bought these things and haven't had much opportunity to use them because I bought them during the first lockdown. 10, 16. Target number was 9. She gets +4. Yeah, I think she's okay. She takes a look at the body. You can see her leaning over. You can actually see her go like sniffing around the face of the man. She looks around and says, do any of you study the healing arts?
Yes, I do.
Have a smell of this man's face. Tell me what you smell.
I can take a guess.
You can take a guess if you want, yeah. So
Garlic.
I am going to
Smells like
need
garlic.
a perception 13 smelling test of it. Target number 13, perception. Smelling, if you have that advantage, can be added as well.
This truly though, if I take a guess, it would be
Oh my.
thingy gaming. What do you call it?
Oh,
Metagaming.
Metagaming, yeah.
Baylor got 333.
Okay, Baylor has
Like
a little
sneeze.
bit of
one,
a,
sorry.
you just have a little bit of a stuffy nose, and I'm sorry, I can't smell anything.
Can I have a try?
Yes, you can.
I mean, I
yeah.
don't think.
Please.
I mean, I have a suspicion. But what do you want from me? Is it perception or?
Perception smelling test, please. Yes.
I've just got perception, but there we go.
Oh.
Okay, you can smell something as well, but you can't quite tell what it is. There's a slightly bitter scent to it, but there's something that's
Can I-
definitely not just bad breath.
Almonds?
It's not almonds, no. Which is I'm pretty
Uh,
sure.
Can I also give this a sniff?
Yeah, go for it.
Might as well.
Right,
Oh fucking hell.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
Right.
you also smell something, but you've no idea what it is. To you, it seems plant-based, but you're not sure.
Oh,
Are you
well.
done it?
Okay.
So you've got a room
Can
full
I
of
ask-
people just
can I
sniffing
ask
a
a little
corpse here at the moment.
question?
Yes, you can.
My little question is, how does the Academy feel about necromancy?
The Academy teaches necromancy.
Yeah.
That's fine. So,
But only under certain circumstances, certain controlled circumstances, and only
mean-
spells like contacting the dead to speak to them. It doesn't.
okay.
It
So if I
doesn't
used-
hold with summoning the dead.
So if I use speak with the dead to try
They'd
and...
be fine with that. They do actually teach that.
Well, the Vice Chancellor
okay.
would be able to tell us what she smelled
Yes, I
herself
was
anyway.
just
so-
waiting for somebody to finish what they were saying, and then I was going to tell you what she smelled. She's
Yeah.
mildly disappointed that none of you picked up on it, but she says that slightly bitter smell you might have smelled, it's stuma lily. It's a plant from the marshes.
Oh.
Oh, I should have got that then, shouldn't I?
You'd have thought, yeah, you got +2 on your roll, but that would still have brought you up a little bit shy, I'm afraid.
It's because the dice roller hates me.
Yeah, probably. It's a plant from the marshes, very common in swamps and other wetlands as well. If you grind its leaves and seeds together, you can create a toxin. It causes drowsiness and sleep, and in large enough quantities, heart failure. The victims just drift off into sleep and then pass away peacefully. You hear one of the sword mages as well say, "Have you seen this? He had company last night." As you look around to see what he's doing, the sword mage is pointing at a table in the room, 2 chairs, as most of the tables, most of the rooms here have. But there's 2 glasses and a decanter.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see if it's the glasses of the decanter that smell of it.
You can.
Yeah.
Give me another perception snuffing test, please.
Nothing.
Ooh.
This time, knowing what you're looking for, you can detect the smell coming from one of the 2 glasses, not the other, and not the decanter.
So they basically dosed the glass, then they didn't dose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was they meant to murder them or whether they just meant to put them to sleep is a different matter.
Yeah.
It is a bit, yes. Something of a different matter. It could have been either. It could have just been accidentally overdosed that killed them. But the Vice Chancellor turns to the Sword Mage and says, "This is without question a murder, but we need to keep that quiet from the rest of the Academy for the time being." The Sword Mage says, "Mom, we do have several visitors, and the ones here are not the only ones I'm thinking of." She says, "I am aware of that, but I very much doubt that Amblev was responsible for this either. But let us investigate and see where the investigation takes us."
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys...
Can we? I was going to ask, can we look at the body and see, maybe like deduce the time of death? Is that a thing you can do?
Yes.
Or Marie can do a speak to the dead thing. Like that might actually be better.
You could give me a... Yeah, I mean, you can do both of those if you want to try and determine the time. I think I've turned that music up just a smidge too much. I'm just trying to get the music at a volume I'm happy with.
Whilst they're doing that, can I have a look around the room to see if there's anything I can pick up on that seems out of place other than the decanter and glasses?
Yes, you can take a look around. Give me a perception searching test. Ben, what was it you suggested just a second ago? Sorry, just refresh my memory.
Time of death.
Time of
See
death,
if I
yeah.
can figure it out.
Somebody with the surgery specialization or the healing focus needs to do that.
Okay.
You must have one or the other. Both would be better.
I've got chirurgy as a power and healing as a skill.
Perfect. Give me a healing test then. Celeste's 10 on a perception. So Celeste looks around. She doesn't notice anything else out of the ordinary other than the fact that there was definitely a second person here last night. And neither glass has entirely been drained, which leads you to think that something happened before they had finished drinking. So why is the corpse tucked up in bed? Also, the corpse's fingers are kind of gripping the bedclothes claw-like.
Okay.
Can I have a look round about the bed?
Yes, you can. Give me a perception searching test. Okay, Rowena Shadowend has passed. So, judging by the state of rigor mortis that the corpse is in, it's starting to come back out, which suggests that the murder happened last night. Because the muscles are just starting to loosen up again. So that has to be about, not quite 24 hours yet, but it must have been last night that this happened. Probably around about, well, it's an imprecise science, so you would say sometime between 10 o'clock last night and midnight. Sandrina hasn't discovered anything around the bed that's untoward either, apart from the corpse in it, obviously. It's a touch untoward, to be fair.
Right. Well, I think one of the first things is, well, obviously Rowena can do speak with the dead, but also we need to figure out if this student was seen hanging around with anyone in particular, if anybody saw him coming into his room with someone or talking about meeting up with someone, etc.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Best way to do that would probably be to just start knocking the other doors of the the students
Me
around
very
you.
much.
So,
Yeah.
Maria, you've asked about the possibility of doing a speak with dead. Are you going to try it, or are you leaving it? For
I'm going to
now?
give it a try.
Okay.
Because if I can't do it, they'll have a more powerful mage than me that can do it.
Yeah.
But if I do it now and we find out something, it gives us ammunition for this debate. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It probably would. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, that's not added anything up properly. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Your target number was 15. So unfortunately not.
Damn it.
You
Sorry, guys.
You try to
Sorry.
remember the spell, but you're finding it's difficult to do. You can try. You've spent the mana points on that. Of course.
Yeah, I've done that.
You
Yeah.
can try again, of course, but you
Yes, I'm just considering that. Just give me a second.
Mhm.
I'm just making sure I've taken off the right amount of mana,
right.
and I have now.
There
Right.
might be something else
Okay,
you want to
I've
do
got
first.
two more. I've got 2 more attempts, or I can Hands of Fate.
Yeah, I think maybe you should.
I'm going to
We might
cast
need it.
Hands of Fate.
If you're going to run out of mana, is that power necklace that I've handed over to you last time?
Yep.
Yes, that's a
Yeah.
very good point. Yeah.
It's true.
Okay.
However, if you just have a look at what I just rolled on.
Okay, so instead of attempting to summon the corpse back, realizing that it's a difficult spell, it occurs to Rowena Shadowend that perhaps she needs the assistance of the fates themselves. She closes her eyes and silently, in her head, recites some incantation to the fates in the hope that they will smile upon her endeavour. You now have 7 points in the Hands of
Yeah.
Fate pool.
Woohoo, that'll be helpful. I could do a
Should
few
be.
things.
So go ahead
Right.
and try the Speak with Dead again if you would like to. And this time you passed it without needing Hands of Fate. Isn't that difficult?
Hey, well,
Isn't it bloody typical? But never mind, I passed it. If
Remem-
I hadn't cast Hands of Fate, I'd have failed it.
Yes.
And then
You
I
could
wouldn't
still
have had
use
enough
it.
mana to do Hands of Fate and that
Yes.
without
we
using
can
the necklace.
So
yeah,
this
we'll
time,
still use it to search the room anyway. So.
yeah. This
Again.
time, as she until the end of this encounter, which is i.e. until the end of the murder investigation, you will have that Hands of Fate pool, so you can still use it later on in this investigation.
I'm
if
just
needs
going to make a note of
Yeah.
how much I have. It's 6,
7.
isn't it?
7.
7.
Hands of Fate
That's
is
right,
whatever was on
'cause
your
it's
stunt dice
+1.
+1. Puppets of Fate is just the
This
dice roll.
just the dice roll.
Okay, so as you reach out, trying to search into the netherworlds for a confused spirit that might be on the edges of the netherworld, still near this world and still near this part of this world, you can the rest of you can see that Rowena Shadowend's eyes turn entirely black. It's just as if they fill up with ink. They turn entirely black, and you hear
Oh.
as the corpse suddenly sits up.
Okay.
Its eyes open. Poof. They turn black, and then the room itself begins to darken as if the shadows are gathering around. It becomes
I'm going
darker.
to
and-
start, not all the way, but I'm drawing my sword out the scabbard
Right.
slightly.
You start to draw your sword as these shadows pull up towards the corpse. And the corpse looks directly at Rowena Shadowend and says,
What on earth?
"What would you ask of me?"
Who drank wine with you last night?
No one drank wine with me last night. We drank brandy.
Who drank brandy with you last night?
As is often the way, I drank brandy with my friend, whose name the Games Master's looking for and seems to have misplaced. Give me a second.
I left the note here somewhere.
My memory is not what it was when I was alive.
Okay.
Fuck fuck's sake, the
Take
name.
your time, dude. We've got plenty of time.
With my friend Brandwin.
Brandwin. And are you sure that Brandwin is your friend?
We have known one another for 2 years as students here. We have often discussed law late into the night.
Is there one here who is your enemy?
Not here, no.
Is there one elsewhere who is your enemy?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
People make enemies in life. I know of none who would wish me dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Before you came here, who were your family?
My mother and father.
Were they rich? Were they noble? Were they
No.
wise?
Wise, perhaps, yes, in the way that common people often are, and yet it is overlooked by those of power and wealth and influence.
And
My
we used to...
mother was a hamster, no.
Oh my God, everybody's yes, we get it.
my my mother was a baker and my father a fisherman upon the Stars water.
So then, in that case, he's been either been murdered for hate or been murdered for a secret.
I have no secrets to speak of.
Brandwin may have secrets that has told her and have told them to you
Perhaps.
without knowing.
Can I suggest some questions?
Yep, you ask your questions.
Okay. I'll ask why they didn't finish drinking their brandy.
He turns to look at you, the corpse turns to look at you, you feel a shiver go through you as your blood runs slightly cold. The corpse turns its dead eyes towards you, its head lolling to one side, and it says, I will answer your question if you first answer one of mine, sister.
Okay. Do they normally ask this sort of thing, Rowena?
Don't do it much. Not much confidence in this swamp.
Okay. Right, go on then, Mr. Corpse person.
My question, as a sister of the faithful, how does it make you feel to be speaking to a corpse?
A little bit uncomfortable, I have to admit.
You will forgive my curiosity. Now, I will answer your question.
Yeah.
What was it again?
This is like Monty Python raises the dead again.
Oh my god. I asked why they didn't finish drinking their brandy last night.
Indeed, so you did, yeah, sorry, but being dead seems to have affected my memory. I was taken ill last night, or ill perhaps is the wrong term. I was very...
Murdered.
Murdered is.
Yeah.
A bit
I was-
muddled today.
I was very tired and weary, unable to keep
Okay.
my eyes open for much longer. Brandwin kindly agreed to leave me to rest. He helped me over towards the bed and then left.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I want to ask as well if were you in a relationship with anybody, and could Brandwin potentially have been jealous of that?
I was not.
Okay. And you hadn't made any new friends lately?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Maybe, maybe the poison. Oh, I don't know if that would make sense. I was going to say maybe the poison wasn't meant for him and it was meant for the other guy. I mean, just because we haven't detected the presence of a second person Or third person doesn't mean there wasn't. Maybe someone snuck in through the window.
You
Just
want
an
to
idea.
look towards the window. It's large enough for somebody to get through. It's kind of a lattice work with glass inside each lattice. It's sort of like, like leaded windows. It's very much like that, with thick chunks of glass between each. There's a
Oh, I
latch
guess-
on the inside of it. It doesn't look as if it's been disturbed.
Okay. Well, I'll ask the corpse then. Did Brandwin bring the brandy, or did you already have it here?
I always keep brandy in my room.
Okay. And would anybody else have gained access to your room without you knowing about it?
Probably.
Other friends, perhaps, who...
Perhaps so, yes.
I've got another question.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask him which mage is he particularly a pupil of any one mage?
Oh, God. Right, okay, let me just have a look.
I'm specifically looking to see if he's the pupil of the mage who's currently being held by a sheriff
Right, yeah, okay.
thingy. If he's not his pupil, it's okay.
I've got a couple of other
He's not,
questions. I think-
no.
Right.
I think,
Because it might have been they're trying to wipe out a specific faction.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
cool.
he studies the cold arcanum and water. So that would be... Let me just have a look. That would be Suleiman and probably Nestor. But there are other masters that also teach the cold arcanum.
Okay.
Is the Chancellor still here? Does she want to ask him any questions?
Yes, she'll ask him a question. Gawain, I'm terribly sorry for what has befallen you, but understand we ask these questions in order to bring your killer to justice. Is there anything you learned recently that someone might have wished to keep secret? Something that you haven't yet made public, but they may have feared you would have done? Yes. Would you care to tell us what it is? Last night, I saw the visitor, the envoy from Mordraine. She visited Bursa Nestor. They spoke privately in his chambers for some time. I don't know what about. She went to great lengths not to be seen.
Right, but they
Not
sold
great
him.
enough.
There
Does
we
he
go.
know-
So it was for a secret.
Mhm.
Is your friend, is he a supporter of Mordraine?
Yeah, I was going to say.
We do not speak of politics. Only of law.
He's never indicated any interest in the academy joining forces with Mordraine, or
Never.
he never hated the old king.
We never spoke of it.
Okay.
Okay.
See,
I
could
don't
ask quite
think
a
his friend did
complicated
it.
question here, but I think it's probably a bit beyond the corpse.
Mhm.
What was the point of law on which he defended Mordraine's takeover of the kingdom?
He didn't. We never spoke of Mordraine's takeover of the kingdom.
But that would have been legal. That would have been law. I'm not saying that to the corpse. I'm just saying that would have been a legal thing that would have been talked about.
We spoke of law, not of law.
I'm going to ask him if he let anybody else into his room yesterday or last night,
He thinks for a while and then answers,
and who.
no, there was no one else.
Okay.
Right. So either Brandwin's a supporter or Brandwin was hypnotized or compelled.
I
to
don't
join
think
Mordraine.
I don't think he did it. Nah, it's too
Perhaps
obvious.
not knowingly. I guess we have to you know.
As the
I think
games
it'd be
master,
interesting
though,
to find out what bit of law that they like to discuss, especially last night.
right? Okay, that would answer what I was about to clarify anyway. So I'll do it in character. We spoke of arcane law, of the mysteries of various arcanums. We spoke of historical law and the cultural law of the region.
Okay.
So, just for clarity, when he says they spoke of law, he means L-O-R-E, not
Yeah.
L-A-W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The words sound very similar.
Yes, yes, that's English for you, isn't it?
All right.
Phoneme, I believe they call it.
Yeah.
So, like the history of the land, is that what he means?
Yes.
No, you mean
Well, L-O-R-E law is so folklore, for example. It's the collection
Yeah.
of knowledge about a thing. So
Yeah, so
folklore.
it's to do with arcane
Yes, exactly.
abilities.
Yeah. So folklore would be a collection of like folk beliefs, and arcane lore, as Mark said, it's to do with how arcane abilities work. Cultural lore is to do with how cultures, what we would call sociology now.
Okay. Is the corpse able to give us a quick rundown of what happens, or like just describe as nice, before he dies?
We began, as we often do, discussing a wide variety of things. We spoke of arcane lore and of history, of the cultural law of the region. We drank brandy as we spoke, and gradually I began to feel taken by a weariness until I was struggling to keep my eyes open. Brandon helped me to my bed and bid me good night, and sorted
And
himself
Brandon didn't seem at all worried the fact at you just suddenly becoming so tired that you couldn't lift yourself up to get to bed.
He thinks about it for a while and then answers, I cannot recall him seeming overly concerned.
Did he seem at all different, like he wasn't himself?
2 seconds, getting my dice back in.
We also need to ask after this what if he actually heard
Did a
Amblev
little,
Eskew talking about anything. Oh, so he
Did
seemed
seem
a bit
different.
weird, right?
A little different. Distracted.
So, distracted.
Okay.
Okay. Jenny's quite. I've already forgot your question, Jenny. But yeah, I'll ask whatever Jenny just said. Sorry.
Because you think I remember, right? Okay.
I just said we should ask if he actually heard
Yeah, that was it.
anything of what Amblev and Nesta talked about.
Yeah.
No,
Specifically.
I saw her arrive outside his chambers with 2 of her escort.
Right.
She was careful to look about and see if she was being observed, but I was in a position that was difficult to see into from where she stood. She entered, but the 2 others milled about for a while. My
Well, you must have been-
curiosity got the better of me and I waited. It must have been half an hour, perhaps.
Okay. Well, someone must have seen you, it seems.
I guess so.
It's just occurred to me it was last night, by the way, that this happened, so it would have been just before.
Right, okay.
So it can't have
got
been
them
long
really-
after she arrived,
Yeah.
because she arrived immediately before you. Now, the porter said this morning, but you might want to check that, because it would appear she was in last night.
Right, okay. Right, let's write notes.
Yeah. There's some oddness here about motive. It's just nagging at me, and I can't. Are we done asking him questions?
I feel like I've got more to ask, but I forgot.
Well, he's
So I asked him about his night.
Yeah.
Then I asked him if the guy seemed a bit suspicious. He seemed distracted.
yeah, he seemed distracted.
And obviously the guy died.
We could ask who invited. Did Branwyn invite himself over? Was this a regular meeting they would have at this time every week or night?
It was a regular meeting each week at this time. Yes.
Did you tell him that you saw Mordraine go into Nestor's chambers?
Yes.
Right.
Right. You need to send the sword mages to protect him.
Well, it wasn't Mordraine, obviously. It was.
Sorry, Amblev.
Amblev.
Yeah. You need to send some sword mages to protect him.
Protect who?
Does your friend?
Oh, Brandwyn.
Mhm.
Brandwyn. Is it Brandon or Brandwyn?
Brandwyn.
Right. Okay.
Does Brandwyn have any knowledge of this poison? You know, and how to mix it to make it lethal.
I have known Brandon for about 2 years. How would I know the answer to that question?
Well, has he shown an interest in botany or gardening
Poison.
or poison?
Not that
That would be quite helpful.
Not that I recall, although he does study alchemy, but
Okay. Can you get that type of flower in the extensive gardens that you have? I know
no.
it's normally from marshes. Right. Okay.
Yeah, actually the corpse doesn't know what the flower was, but the Selenica does. She says, "No, you don't get those flowers in our gardens, but you would get them in the marshes around Starsreach. Starswater."
Right. So one more question. You told your friend, you told Brandwyn that you saw the envoy go into the room, and then you were with him for the rest of the night, right?
Yes.
So it couldn't have been that guy, because he found out that night while he was in your room about what you saw. He didn't have time to sneak up to the marshes and poison him.
It depends.
It would have taken days to get to the marshes and back anyway.
So either
So it could not have been him. It would have had to been an assassin.
Two things, Ben. The first thing is that the secret may not have been the motive. The friend could have brought the poison with him to poison him for another reason.
Yeah. And
Maybe,
also,
yeah.
he could have been influenced in some way by somebody else, magically or otherwise, who may or have had a plan in place for if something like this had happened. Like Amblev, I would imagine if she got seen, she would have a plan to take out anybody who saw her doing things that she shouldn't be doing or that was suspicious.
I think we should go see Brandwyn, and if
Yeah.
he hasn't heard that his buddy's dead, we shouldn't tell him. We should bring him to this room and see his reaction when he sees his dead friend for the first time.
Good idea. Okay. The Selenica, the Vice Chancellor, likes the plan. I like this plan. Perhaps we will judge from his reaction. Also, I think it might be best if we speak to Envoy Amblev. She seems to be thinking this through in her head.
And Nesta, for that
However,
matter.
I think we should hold off on it for a little bit.
We certainly
Maybe.
can't be seen to be questioning Mordraine's envoy at this juncture. And by we, of course, I mean the Academy. She looks pointedly at all the members of the party who aren't members of the Academy.
Who's the head lecturer of potions?
just see. Festa.
Oh, Festa.
Hester.
Yeah.
And who is the lecturer of cold magic?
Nestor.
Nestor. Right.
Yeah, and he's the one she was talking to.
Yeah, because he seems to be in favour of what's her name? Amblev.
Amblev. Or she was going there to, I don't know, try and.
She could have
bribe
just
him
been
in
getting
some
it on.
way.
You don't know.
So the Vice Chancellor turns to our sword mage and says, bring apprentice Brandwin here. Don't tell him why. Just tell him we need he is needed here. We will see what his reaction is. She kind of pulls up a seat at the table and sits waiting as the sword mage scurries off. What are the rest of you doing?
We're going to have to do a bunch of sneaking around, aren't we? After this, I think. Perhaps
Yes, we are.
try searching the room again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would search, but for other ways into the room aside from the main door.
You could try. Is anybody else getting a hiss in there?
Yeah.
In
I'm
their
getting
sound?
anything. Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
getting hissing.
Has it just stopped for anyone else?
Yes.
Yep.
I can't hear it.
It's stopped.
I didn't hear any hissing. I haven't noticed anything.
It's been
Me
driving me mad for a while now.
Is it me?
I don't know, it seems to have stopped now. As soon as I mentioned it, it just stopped.
Just like, has anyone heard hissing? And the
Maybe you
hissing's like,
scared
oh
the
shit.
snake away.
Yes, the snake slithered off. Yeah, yeah I'm turning my volume up quite a bit in my cans there, and I can't hear it anymore, so that's a good sign. Whatever it was seems to have stopped. I don't know what it was, but let's crack on anyway. So what are you guys going to do whilst the sword mage is off retrieving Brandon? Bearing in mind
I'm
it's
still-
now about 10 o'clock at night.
I think we should ask the deceased if he's got any final wishes. You know, would you like to be buried at home? Would you like his any of his belongings given to his parents? Anything like that? Is there anybody you would like fond wishes given to? So before we lay him to rest.
Wait, should we not keep him around for Brandwin? They can talk.
I don't think they're literally going to send him off to his parents now, if that's what you meant.
Box him up and send him like next station.
I would like to be cremated. Fair enough. Fireball! Poof! Oh shit! I didn't mean right this second, and also I seem to
No,
have
no, I
cremated
mean
4
like
characters.
keep his spirit. Like
Ah,
the
sorry,
talking
right,
to
yes.
the
You
dead
can
spell.
walk, talking instead of, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, like keep
sorry,
the,
yes, I
the
got
spell
your point,
active
yeah.
and wait for Brandwin, and they can talk together. What's the matter?
Well, I mean that's entirely up to Marie, who's supplying the mana for this. But in answer to your question, is there anything you would like to do? Let's just have a look.
Fucking guy.
Okay, yes, he would like to have his body returned to Starswater. Ah, wait a minute.
Stars water.
Sorry, he's not actually from Starswater. He's from one of the towns on the Starswater, but not Starswater itself.
Cock
Yes,
and crow.
He would like to have his body returned home and his parents notified.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Don't notify them first. They'll find out when they open up the box.
Is there anything else you would like to do, just quickly before?
Yeah, I still entertain the fact there was a third member, so I wanna look for any like sneaky entrances.
Okay, give me another search roll.
Specifically searching, not seeing.
Specifically searching because you're looking for something.
Is
rather
that
than-
intelligence?
It's an
Or is that perception?
intelligence searching roll. Yeah. Sorry,
Is
perception
it?
searching roll. Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh shit.
Not so great. So
Another shit
you're
roll.
looking around and you can't really see anything that strikes you as likely to be a sign that anyone else was here. There are certainly places that could have entered. There's the window that I mentioned earlier, but it doesn't look as if it was disturbed. There's the door that, well, it would have been locked if he wasn't in it, but you really can't find anything conclusive
to be fair, this is a place full of mages who could maybe teleport or go invisible or do any numerous things.
Yeah, there are so many ways
Oh,
mages...
I have
could do it.
actually, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, you know that contract we had to sign, does that extend to killing someone indirectly, like through poison?
No.
Doesn't? Oh, damn.
Well,
It stops violent acts, but the spell wouldn't recognise poisoning something as a violent act because it would just...
right.
So, let's face it, if the spell could be kicked off by people mixing things into other things, the alchemical school wouldn't work out too well. So,
Yeah,
so
that's
no,
true.
it didn't recognise that as a... So it wouldn't be covered.
That's a shame.
So it could be a student or a visitor, so that doesn't help.
You okay, Marie?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm just going to wait for the boy to come.
So the sword mage sticks his head round the door and says, "The Lady Selenica, no one has seen Brandwin since earlier this morning."
Uh-oh.
So something came in here wearing a skin.
I could have done. Or he's been taken care of after taking care of, or he's, God, he could have legged it. Who knows?
There is a little more. His room looks as if he left in a hurry.
Right.
So he's run.
Right.
Well, can the mages do it? How long does a scribe take? Can't they just scribe and find them?
Do you mean scry?
Yes, I mean that.
They could probably scry and find him, yes.
Yeah,
How long does it take, though?
should do that. So,
It shouldn't take a huge length of time. Unfortunately, they do need to be familiar with the person, and Selenica has never met Brandwin.
Could the ghost help with that? Answer some questions about Brandwin.
Not
Only known him
really.
2 years.
Yeah.
So,
2 years is a long time. What?
If she had something personal from him, she could scry from that.
Like his pillow or something.
Clothing, something like that. An item
I'm
that
sure
was,
there's
that was
something there.
used by him.
what
Like
about the glass over there?
Yeah.
No, it would have to have been used more than once. It wouldn't be something that belonged to somebody else that he used occasionally when he was visiting. It would have to
Yeah, it
be
would
Well,
have
there's
to
plenty
be.
of things in his room. There'll be plenty of things in his room. His bed
Yeah.
sheets. There might be a
them going.
shoe that he dropped
Yeah.
under the sofa.
Then let us.
A toilet.
Then
Oh, that's kind of gross, friend, but okay.
it's gross,
not
but
wrong.
his bedpan will be there. That is how they dispose of such waste here. So yeah,
yeah.
she's not looking forward to the idea of having to scry through his bedpan, no. To be entirely
Well,
honest.
I mean, even his bed frame or something.
How about
Mhm.
a wash towel?
Yes, something like that would work. Yeah.
There's no way the boy packed everything he's used to run away. So,
Well, let us off to his chamber and see. Okay. You travel down the corridor and round a corner and up another corridor till you find Brandwin's room, where the little mage that was the runner in the first place takes you. Visiting the room reveals that the wardrobe is almost entirely empty, save for a few items that Brandwin appears to have left behind. Is that his back?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute myself. Tell me if it's me.
Yeah.
No,
It's not you.
there.
It's not you because I can still hear the
That's
hiss.
good news.
Hold on.
It's stopped now.
It's
Oh,
like,
I can hear it. Oh, I can hear it now. That's static.
Okay, I can't hear it anymore. Can anyone else?
for me, it's like going
No.
on and off, on and off.
Yeah.
It's just maybe everyone check the mic inputs. Like,
Yeah,
is it fully
check
plugged
check
in?
your inputs are fully plugged in. Make sure that.
Yeah, mine is. I'll mute myself now and see if it's me.
Nope, I can still hear it.
Yeah, I could hear it when I muted myself.
Right.
Right, I should mute my microphone if it's
Okay.
if it's there.
Yeah. It stopped.
Yeah. I
Hold
think
on,
it
guys.
was.
Don't thing it on Lars. I've got 2 wires crossed while I'm there.
It's
On
back
mine.
again.
It's
I can
like,
hear it occasionally.
yeah, it's like coming and going now.
I can hear it there.
Yeah. Marie, you're
So
using
is
the
it-
same type of headset as me, so you can feel free to unplug it and plug it back in once you've untangled the wires. It will automatically connect you back up through this system. It's not like some... Right, so Lars, could you mute yourself again, see if it goes away?
Yeah,
Can anyone else
No,
hear
it's
it?
still there. I can hear some of it.
Yeah, it's not as loud, but it says still there. So
Yeah.
Lars, you can bring yourself back in now. Mark, could you try muting yourself, see if that works?
Yep.
Nope, that's made no difference.
Yeah, it's back again.
Maybe it's just a collection.
Okay,
Thank
let's...
you.
I've not
Can
been able to
everybody
hear any of it
hear
at
me?
all.
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you. Yeah.
Right. My wire at the back was actually touching the wire that transmits to my embroidery machine.
Right. Okay, that might have been
So-
it.
And that's live at the moment. So I've switched to a different port away from it.
Mhm.
And I can't hear the hiss anymore.
Mm.
Can anyone else still hear it?
I
I've
can't
not
hear
been
a
able to
thing.
hear it at all.
No, I can't hear it now either. So I think we must have cracked it. So okay, sorry about that, especially the audience at home. But we think we've nailed the hit, for now at least. Let's hope. So where were we? We were you were looking at Brandon's room. So visiting his room reveals the wardrobe is mostly empty, save for a few items that he left behind. Most of his personal items are also gone. There is a decanter of brandy remaining and a mortar and pestle with a small amount of something at the bottom.
Oh, right.
Really?
It
Could be a
seems a
font.
bit. It seems. Why would he take everything except something that would? I don't know. Even if you're running away, surely you wouldn't leave the thing you'd just used to make poison in
Suppose it
there.
depends whether you're a chaotic murderer or not.
I guess that's true. Hmm.
There's an alignment you may not see in 6th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Chaotic murderer.
Yeah, I guess. Hmm.
So if anybody would like to test the material in the
No,
No?
sniff it though, I suppose.
yeah, okay, yeah, go for another perception snuffing test.
Snorted it. Oh, it's poison.
Yeah, I think this is poison. Okay, so Celeste
got
can't
no
really
clue.
smell anything. Baylor, on the other hand, it's definitely Stuma Lily poison.
Yeah.
So this is,
Okay.
and it's relatively fresh. It's about 8-9 hours old, maybe.
Yeah.
No, a bit more than that actually. You would say probably mixed last night, so maybe it's about 18 hours old.
Now, one thing that's just entered my mind. What if this mortar and pestle is a plant?
Yeah, it seems
Make
odd.
Brandwin a red herring.
Could be.
And make it look like he left in a hurry. I mean, they could have.
But
There's
really,
quite a
he's
few- when we're
he did run
dealing
away.
with when we're dealing with magic and people who can disguise themselves as others and do things like that, then it makes it
Thing is,
a lot of
Brandwin
options.
could be already dead, and somewhere here is his body.
Yeah, could be.
Is there a way where, like, through tracking or something, where we can see how many people were in the room recently?
Not really, no.
I think we
No.
need to just
Shame.
try and do the scrying, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think we should use the mortar and pestle because if it's a plant, it won't work. So just
Global.
use something that did actually belong to him that he
His
used.
head frame, maybe.
Okay, so Lenica says bring one of his bed sheets to my chamber then, and we'll try. You take
Is there a dirty washing pile?
No. What, you were going to go, here, I've got a better idea. Use his dirty underwear. To
'cause
the
I was
Vice
thinking,
Chancellor.
like, No, just because I was thinking, like,
Will the skip
maybe
marks help?
through some elaborate way.
Aw.
Maybe like
God.
the. I was thinking maybe the bed sheets. Maybe the murderer thought, oh, they'll scry using the bed sheets, so I'll do his bed for him, and they changed them.
It's possible. It's possible, but no, there doesn't appear to be.
Okay, that's fine.
So you take the bed sheets to Selenica's chamber, where she has the sword mage placed outside again. Those of you who are allowed to enter while she does this, only Academy members, everybody else out.
Right, I'll linger.
Feelings
I'm
in
gonna
there.
go. I'm gonna huff outside and moan to Toady that I don't get to see anything fun.
You see, Selenica stands in front of the black mirror. She lights a candle on her desk. On the other side, she holds the bed sheets, which she brings in towards her and kind of concentrates on. As the smoke from the candle drifts past her, she inhales the scent and then looks
Heals the bed
upwards.
sheets.
You can see the mirror, the black mirror, starts to look just a little bit more opaque. Now let's see how this scrying goes. I'm going to use these dice again. I'm going to use out of them. And our hiss is back.
Yeah. I'm
I wonder
curious.
if it's
as what-
me. Oh dear. Nice.
You never thought of that one.
No, I mean the fact that I just rolled a 2 and 2 1s.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, dear, yeah.
So unfortunately, she's unable. She just doesn't know him well enough. She just cannot get a connection.
I wonder what happens if you scry on someone who's dead, then. Would it just not work? Or would it be something a little bit more sinister?
You don't know.
See
You
the
haven't.
body?
Can everybody hear me?
I
Okay.
can hear now. I'm assuming there's the embroidery machine.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, sorry, I was a bit closer to it than I should be because it was giving me a
Ryan's
bit of jerk.
typing something.
Mm.
Can anyone hear me? Nope.
You
Nope.
can't hear me at all right now.
Oh,
Well, I
can
can
hear you
now.
now.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Just before you said nope, I heard something went blub blub blub, which I thought that sounds like the noise. How's the hiss? I can still hear it. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
No.
hear it.
No, okay.
I can hear it.
Well, we're just going to have to press on. It's not too bad. I've heard worse. It's going to annoy me, but still, never mind. Okay, so yeah, she has no luck with her attempt at scrying on this. What is to her
I'm
a
curious
stranger?
about Jenny's question. What happens if you try and scry a dead person?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Make an arcane law roll to find out.
Can the mages do that?
I don't have arcane rolls. So.
I do.
13, that's a pass. You would fail to find them.
Right, so it wouldn't like just show the body or show the spirit or something.
No, you'd fail to find them.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I'll say to the Vice Chancellor, well, okay, shall we do this the old-fashioned way? Send out the guards, the swordmasters, to do a search of the entire grounds.
Take some time to search a building this size, but we can try it. It'll cause a great
I
deal
would
of alarm.
say-
What I
Yeah.
think we should
something
try.
here.
Yeah,
To be on
uh-huh.
the lookout for any disturbances in the building or in the gardens.
Guys, I'm just going
Something
to
that
try something because something's just occurred to me. Nope, I can still hear that hiss. I was wondering if it was in the recording, but I can definitely still hear it.
I want to say something about Lars's plan.
Yeah, go ahead.
How many of the sword mages are you sending out to do this? Because I think sending out a load of the people who protect the mages in the academy when the usurper's envoys here is a really, 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 really bad idea.
Hmm.
You know, because what if this is a ploy to get rid of all of them?
It would also cause panic anyway, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that
So-
they can just kill off anybody who doesn't agree with them and make sure the academy's on their side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got a quick idea of what we could try.
Okay, go on.
So, scribing, or scrying, whatever. How many of the masters can do it? Is it only this woman?
It's not a common arcanum, so yes.
Oh shit! I was gonna say because like the guy's Brian, what the guy's actual like teacher could have done it. Because obviously that they would have known each other then. But...
Yes, but his teacher's not not familiar with the appropriate arcanum.
That is a shame.
You could, I don't know. It's up.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Marie cast Hands of Fate.
Yeah.
Could not use that to help?
I've only got 7 points if she failed that catastrophically.
Yeah, she only rolled
Oh.
4.
Four,
Even with her
right,
plus
okay.
4 bonus, that was still only going to be 8.
Okay.
But then 8 plus 7. I mean that's.
It would
16,
need almost the entire. Well, it would need the entire pool. Well, 6. It would need 6.
Honestly, I think it would be worth it, you know, because then we'll know if he's alive or not. We'll know if he's on
Okay.
the grounds or not.
I tell you what, I'll put the entire pool in.
Well, you only need to put 6 in. So
Okay.
inside the room, you can see she's just about to give up when the mirror starts to coalesce an image. You can't quite make it out, Lars, or Baylor can't quite make it out, but there's definitely an image there. You can see that the Vice Chancellor is now completely unaware of her surroundings, but entirely focused on the image you can see in the mirror. It's almost as if she's kind of transported mentally.
That means he's
to her
alive.
there. I see him
Who?
riding a horse, Branwen.
Oh, I'm just scared.
He's travelling along the roads towards Starswater.
Oh,
I recognise the road. He's travelling at high speed. I see that he is watching the sky from time to time. Perhaps he expects one of our Griffin patrols to intercept him.
Mm.
And then she snaps back into the... You just see the mirror goes completely black again. She kind of sags into her chair. Well, he's alive and he's fleeing.
Griffin Patrol.
Well, that is quite suspicious.
I
Very.
want to meet the Griffin.
I was going to say, how far ahead is he?
He's been travelling all day at a fair rate of knots. He's just approaching Starswater. He's on the outskirts of Starswater.
Alright, I'm back by the way.
Right. Hello there.
Okay,
So,
if he's still on the adventure map,
yes,
you could catch him.
he is still on the adventure map. He's just on the approach to Starswater, which seems to have taken him a long time till you realise he has to wind his way down the mountain and then out to the... so yeah, 10 kilometres to there. I'm getting a completely different size reading than I was getting earlier. Never mind. Anyway, he's approaching Starswater.
I'm back.
Hello!
Right, well, would they have Griffins around there that could intercept him?
Would they have griffins around Starswater, do you mean?
Mm.
No,
That's
the griffins are stationed here.
Okay.
Um,
How
does...
fast can they go?
Oh, shit, I need to pull this up again.
That's okay. It's okay, we're just kind of getting back into the swing of things after the technical issue, so yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Do the Guardians of Arcane Law have, sort of like, I don't know, mages who are employed by the city, I don't know, marshal or what, or whoever's in, like the mayor?
Of
Starswater?
Starswater, right, okay. No, they don't. They don't. Sorry, I did have to check my notes there, but no, they don't.
Ah, right. I was going to say if there was some kind of magical APB that could be sent on.
Yeah, I mean, you could try catching him tonight, but he's a good 50 kilometers away.
How fast can those griffin riders go? Like, would they be able to catch them?
Yeah, they might be able to. Let me just check the griffin's speeds. I just happen to have stats
Could
for
they give
griffins.
us a ride?
I mean, yes, but if you do this, you're not going to be back in time to present your petition.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh.
exactly. I think we should stay put.
Yes.
We could split it. We could split the party.
You could split the party. That's not a problem if you want to. So I was checking the speed for the griffins, yeah?
Yeah.
So their ground speed is 14. Their air speed is more.
A lot more, I'd imagine.
A lot more.
And they could just fly straight over.
Yeah, they would be
Without to
flying a
navigate.
direct route rather than. So they
Send one.
they might be able to get there and back before the petitions are presented tomorrow. In fact, yeah, they probably would as long as they can catch them. So yeah,
Well, I'm okay to ditch the petition. I think the mages probably hold more sway than an elf.
okay.
So,
You want them to go?
you know,
on
like
the-
in the mage academy, I feel like the mages would have more say than an elven.
Yeah, I
rogue.
think I shall stay in Starsreach.
Okay. So anybody else wants to go? Presuming you can convince the chancellor to send a patrol after this this guy. Is there anybody else wants to volunteer to go on it?
I really want to meet the griffins, but like, I want to stay here as well.
Well, let's just put it this way, Jenny. I did not foresee anybody chasing them this way, but I have stats for griffins. That should tell you something. Like, I'm not reading them from the book. I actually have them set up in this adventure, so trust me, you will encounter griffins eventually.
Okay. But it depends on if they're nice or not.
Doesn't it though?
Well, I mean, if Edwards wanted to go on it with a rider, I would imagine we wouldn't have too hard a time convincing them. This person is suspected of murder, after all.
The first murder in the academy's history.
Yeah.
May I add?
It is.
Yeah.
You're quite right.
So I think we need to suggest this, that they send a Griffin rider because, you know, if they know where he is.
But
Okay.
okay, so you report the murder to the Chancellor, who's just retired and is not the happiest man in the world to be woken up. He's even less happy when he's told about the murder. As soon as the Vice Chancellor suggests that they could dispatch Griffin riders to try and intercept him, he thinks about it for a moment and says, "How close to Starsreach was he when you saw him?" The Chancellor says, the Vice Chancellor says, well, he was on the very outskirts of the town. The town was actually visible. He was a few minutes from arriving. He says, then there is little we can do. We don't hold authority in Starsreach. We can send a message to the sheriff there to place him under arrest, but we don't have any authority to seize him ourselves.
If they would like, they could send in they could send in a sneaky rogue to apprehend him, and then bring him to a place where they do have authority.
No, they wouldn't like.
Maybe they could send a Griffin rider in case he's not planning on staying in Starswater. Maybe he's riding right through, in which case they could intercept him when he comes out of Starswater on the way to wherever else he might be going.
This is the first murder in your
It's worth a
entire
try.
history, and you're just going to let him slip through your hands? That doesn't set a good example.
At
do
what
both.
point did we say we were going to let him slip through our hands, boy? We said we
Well,
hold
you're just
no...
letting him ride off?
Oh, shut up for 1 minute, man.
Never interrupt me again, elf.
Wow, I'm detecting a hit into racism.
No, you're detecting somebody who doesn't stand to be interrupted in his own academy. Right? We are not letting him ride through our hands. We have no authority there.
He didn't have any authority killing that poor lad. Here we are.
We cannot simply ride into somebody else's jurisdiction and place anyone under arrest.
Sorry, all I can think of is that.
It might
Mordor.
differ in the queendom, but here we don't have any legal authority. We can report the crime. We can't enforce it ourselves. We are not guards. We are not judges.
Can't ask for permission to arrest him.
In case it has escaped your notice, despite the sizable ears, I did state exactly that we could send a message to have him arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't just ask permission to arrest him yourself.
We could ask permission for that, yes. How does that differ from asking permission to have him arrested
The authorities.
by the authorities?
Well,
Yeah.
rather than the authorities arresting them, you could arrest him yourself.
Well, regardless, if they're going to send out word to arrest him if he is in Starswater, then that'll resolve the issue. If he's not in Starswater, though, if he goes straight through, then maybe that's where a griffin might come in handy. I don't know.
Question to the GM.
We could send we'll send a patrol and see if we can convince the local authorities to arrest him. If
Ryan,
it
I've got a
happens,
question for you.
yeah,
Are there bounty hunters in this game?
yes,
Mm.
there are.
Well, can we not send word out to any bounty hunters that we need this person captured and returned alive?
Again, the problem is that the academy doesn't really have any legal authority to arrest people. It's a university,
Yeah.
so
You know, just keep it on the low.
I mean, you could put out, like... we know...
I already volunteered myself to go and get him. Can you not just keep it on the low? Just pay me off the books.
no. They're literally hearing a petition tomorrow about whether or not they should breach their neutrality. In what
Openly.
in what regard do you think seizing somebody without authority would not be seen as a breach of neutrality?
Well, the breach of neutrality, that would be openly breaching it. This, no one's going to know.
Of course they'll know.
Ah,
They always
quiet.
find out. If we can find out where he is, don't you think that a usurper that is called the Witch King can learn what happened
why would the
to his
usurper
agent?
be interested in... Why would they... Well, if he's an agent, I suppose.
And the light finally dawns. That was the. That's not me. That's the Chancellor. That's kind of run to the end of his patience. He's not given to be that polite a man at the best of times, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say...
These humans are so brush. God.
Oh, just go and sit on that shelf for a moment, please.
Oh.
Okay, so what are you going to do now? They are going to send somebody to ask the actual authorities, the people who have the power to arrest folks, to arrest him. But that's all they can do. They'll send a patrol out for that. If he blasts straight through Starswater, they might be able to take him on the roads, but even that might be pushing things a little bit. Although they might be keener to do that than right under the noses of people with actual authority.
I think we'll probably get him eventually, because if we can keep scrying on him, and they're going to figure out where he is in time eventually, I think.
Which I think us as a group can't do anything, so we may as well stay put. Go to our chambers or
Well,
meet somewhere and talk further about how to object to Amberlet's requests, plans, whatever.
Okay.
We're waiting to see Brandwin's reaction as
Yeah.
well to his death.
Oh, excuse me,
But
sorry, guys.
obviously we can't.
I mean, it's pretty suspicious him fleeing. So
It's very suspicious and fleeing, yes.
Yeah, so we can't. Well, we can't do what we were originally planning. I guess if there's nothing more in his room,
You
that
can
could give
make a
us.
search roll if you'd like to.
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
don't
guess we might.
think you've done that yet, so you can do if you'd like to.
Mm. I'll give it
I know Edward was trying to convince them to let him go on the Griffin patrol. However, he has really annoyed the Chancellor. So, if you still want to go, you're going to have to make a persuasion roll.
Okay.
I mean, you were going to need to make a persuasion roll anyway, because the Griffins are valuable and don't generally let strangers ride them. But the target number will be a bit harder now because the Chancellor's taken a dislike to you.
He's already in a bad mood.
I'm gonna call it now. My roll's gonna be less than 10. Oh, it is 10.
Okay,
Wow.
so yeah, you ask if you can go on the Griffin patrol with the riders, and the Chancellor just kind of glares at you and says, "No," and then turns away to do something else. He starts giving some orders to some of the sword mages, who then run off.
Your loss.
Never mind, Edward. Maybe next time.
He just wants to fly.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. Griffins are pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. But unfortunately, the Chancellor's taken a bit of a dislike to him now
Yeah.
because of all the repetitive. But why don't you just do the thing you can't do? It's really kind of annoyed the guy. So he's like, "No, you're not getting anywhere near our Griffins." But to be honest, with a 10, that would have failed even if he liked you.
Yeah.
Because they are extremely valuable beasts, and he doesn't know who you are, and if you've ever learned how to fly. Well, you wouldn't actually
I
need
haven't.
to learn to fly yourself. Ride, I think, is the term I was looking for.
Yes, imagine the elf flying.
I don't know, the next siege catapult will come across fucking, you know, like,
I mean, we could maybe
yeah,
help.
Edward, sit on this for a moment, please.
Yeah, just jump out the tower window at the top, and like we'll teach you how.
Got your arms.
Well, there are people here who know
mean,
how.
if-
You saw one
Yeah.
doing it earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been interesting, you know. I jump on the Griffin and they're like, "You do know how to ride one of these, right?" And I go, "No." And then I'll
Nope.
go, "Giddy up."
You're like, oh shit.
Oddly
elves
enough, there might be
actually-
another opportunity later. Do elves what, sorry?
Do they have Griffin riders?
Not so much Griffin riders, but they do have winged horse riders.
Woo!
Air cavalry, literal air cavalry.
I
This
Yeah.
Flying ponies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. I'm gonna look at Edward and say, how come you don't have a pretty pony?
Because he's supposed to be an agent of the Queen of Felidor. I think it might attract a bit of attention if he had a.
like he does now.
No. He's not exactly sneaky, is he, at the minute? But
Well, no one suspects me to be an assassin. To be
No.
fair, like,
Exactly.
I
he's
wouldn't
done-
suspect that.
true.
I mean, you
Very
guys don't
true.
even know. You guys don't even know why I'm here, really.
No, that's right. They don't. You've done quite
No
a good
one
job
knows.
of keeping that to yourself. And actually, sometimes
I'm-
the overly
I was actually-
nice. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, like, I know I seemed like really fucking pushy
Mhm.
before, but I was thinking, like, can't they just do it undercover like the Queen's doing? Like, I don't know why it's so difficult for them if the Queen can do it, and you know how
Right.
paranoid she is. Why can't they do it?
I mean,
The
it makes
Queen
sense.
paranoid?
What?
Well,
If you mean the Queen of Felidor, she's not particularly paranoid. She's cautious, but
Oh, we're cautious then.
well, they can't do it because they're sworn to neutrality. That's the core point
Yeah,
of what you're
that's
having the
the-
debate about tomorrow. If tomorrow they decide to throw neutrality out of the window and declare a side, all bets are fucking off. They could
Yeah.
screech into Star's water with an entire platoon of
Yeah.
Griffin riders and sees who the hell they're like. But
Yeah.
whilst they are sworn to neutrality, there's not a great deal. They cannot just randomly
Uh-huh.
break it when it suits them.
Yeah, you
it-
can't break an oath, I suppose.
Yeah, they have to. They would have to constitutionally declare for one side or the other, which is what the big debate tomorrow's about.
yeah.
Is there
I mean,
anything
I
else?
guess-
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I guess as an elf, Edward might view things differently anyway.
Oh,
like,
you
he
almost
wouldn't-
certainly would, because
Yeah.
there wouldn't be this kind of... In the Queendom, anybody would have the authority to make an arrest for a murder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his failure to understand how the Kingdom of Alidon's laws work is in character, certainly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would still annoy somebody like the
Yeah, it would.
like the Chancellor, who, bear in mind, the Chancellor's all about neutrality. He's been a supporter of keeping the neutrality thing right from the beginning. Okay, good night to Mark, who's got to be up for work in 7 hours, so he's popping off to bed.
Yeah.
Good night, we will see you later. Unfortunately, the scene's coming up that might have been ideal for him. Never mind. Okay, so is there anything else anybody wants to do tonight, or are you just going to...
Maybe...
Sorry, I nearly jumped out my skin there. My brother-in-law's just walked in the room. I didn't see him coming, and I didn't hear him because I've got the headset on. But he's come in to distract the cat so that she won't continue bugging me while we play. Sorry. I literally nearly jumped through the ceiling. Well, not literally, figuratively nearly jumped through the ceiling.
Oh, it would have been great if we heard you like
Huh?
make a little scream.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Okay, so what were you saying just before I got my fright there?
What's everybody doing?
I know I was saying, what's everybody doing? Are you going to
Yeah.
retire, or is there anything else you can think of that you'd like to do tonight?
Oh, I
I
think
was
I'm
going to say about...
personally going to retire.
You want to retire?
Right.
Okay, so
I want to do something.
I thought you might. I've got a feeling I know what it is. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you might be right.
Mhm.
So the envoy, the envoy, whatever.
Yes,
She
I think your
that
pronunciation's
guy-
better
she
than
went to
mine,
that
to be
guy's-
honest.
Oh well, she went to that guy's room.
Mhm.
I kind of want to lurk around to see if she does that again.
Okay, yes.
Oh, God.
Why not? Give me a stealth check so you can lurk around outside his room unnoticed. Dexterity stealth, please. Okay, 15's not bad.
And I can roll if I get spotted. Can re-roll.
You can re-roll. I'll tell you what, re-roll now and we'll keep whichever was the highest.
Okay.
Please don't get yourself assassinated.
Oh,
the
fuck.
assassin gets
Fucking hell.
assassinated. Wow.
I'm going to give you stunt points for that because I think there is bugger all chance of anybody managing to roll higher than that. Anybody that might be coming along here. Their perception. I'm just going to run through that in my mind. Who's got the highest perception? That would be around. Yeah, they can't beat that. So you've got 4 points of stunts as well if you'd like to use them. So while the rest of you adjourn to the rooms you have been loaned by the Academy, except obviously for Baylor, who has a room here anyway because he is a member, the rest of you have been given guest suites. You all managed to get a good night's rest, so you can all restore all of your mana if you have mana, magic points, and you can all recover 10 plus your level plus your constitution and hit points.
I think I would use it for That Makes Me Wonder.
Okay, what does it make you wonder? And let's see if I can...
Well,
Give you
it
another
says
roll.
you get more information about your surroundings or objects. Maybe she dropped, or one of them dropped, something that might leave a clue behind.
Okay.
Just something that might give us an idea of what the meeting was about.
Yeah, okay.
Something.
What I'm going to say is what you discover is the place that the unfortunate Gawain was hiding. And now that you're here, you understand how he got overlooked. There is like an old circular circular stairway which rises up, and it's obscured by some of the pillars. So that it's a perfect position where you can just about see the door, but anyone looking would struggle to see you because you'd be in extreme shadow. And you think that's pretty much where he must have been positioned. And from there,
Okay.
he should have been able to see the door and whether she came and went. So his estimate of the half hour seems to be likely to be right, because he'd have been here most of that time. As for anything else, give me a... I'm just trying to think of a narrative way that you could get further information out of this. I've got it. Right.
Maybe you could overhear
Can I make a
him.
suggestion?
Yes. Go on.
Right. Well, my suggestion was that you spot some servants wandering off who gossip and you can't pick up the gossip.
Yes, we'll do that. Okay, so you do overhear some gossip amongst the servants as they are, or the bait and the porters as they are leaving. As they're going past, one of them comes. Well, as one's going past, another one comes out of Nestor's room, and they kind of stop and have a bit of a chat. The door's closed behind them, and then they walk off together talking. And they are gossiping about the previous night. One says, I hear the bursar had visitors last night, or a visitor last night. And the first porter says, what do you mean, who told you that? Oh, some of the students were talking about it. Apparently, that student that turned up dead this morning, he saw the bursar had been visited by that woman from Mordraine. What's her name? Eskew. She was here last night. I wonder what that might have been about. The other porter says, well, they did grow up together. Apparently they were lovers in their youth.
Oh.
Oh.
Perhaps it was a assignation of some kind. Oh, I see, like that, was it? Who'd have thought the old dog getting busy with the envoy? Mind, did you say they grew up
I'm
together?
glad this isn't video because I don't think any of you want to see my face right now.
Did you say they grew up together? Yes, that's right, they grew up together. They were lovers in their youth. She doesn't look old enough to have grown up with the old man. Oh, she's older than she looks, but if you get close you can see the age. The skin around the neck wrinkles somewhat, the eyes. And her hair's touched with grey. Yes, but he's entirely grey. I mean, he must be 70. Oh no, he's not 70. He's early 60s. She's not much different. Really, I would have thought that. And then you lose the rest of the conversation because they just get out of range.
Probably a bit of necromancy going on with her.
Yeah. Unless, of course, you want to try and follow them and see if you can pick up anything more.
Well, has there been much activity in the hallway?
Nah.
Then yeah, I'll follow them.
Okay, give me another. No, I'm going to keep the stealth check you got because it was too good to throw that away, really, wasn't it? Okay, so you make your way off after them, trying to keep up with the conversation as they go. A little way sort of round, the bump into a senior porter. Says, what are you two gossiping about? Nothing, boss. Okay, let me rephrase that. I heard what you two were gossiping about, and there'll be none of that kind of talk around here. You just mind your own business. It's not your business to know what the majors are up to. Yeah, does he mean what they're up to or who they're up to with? I heard that as well. These years work, go about your business. You go that way. You take the longer route. And then he walks back up the corridor towards you. What are you going to do?
I'll stoop back into my previous hiding position.
Okay, you scoot back into your previous hiding position, and as the other porter walks past you can see he stops for a moment and looks in your general direction, cranes his head a bit, and then goes, nah, and just walks off. Meanwhile, the other two porters have parted ways, unfortunately. Anything
I
else?
guess it wouldn't be very good for that guy's attention if it got out that he was sleeping with the envoy.
The enemy, yeah. Probably
Yeah.
not, no. So you might
So
have
it would
some...
make sense if he was to off the guy who was spreading the rumour
It might.
and frame it on the boy.
It could do, yeah. And given how powerful he is in the academy,
What does he
who's anybody gonna
specialize in?
believe? He's the bursar, but magically he specializes in. Let me have a look. Cold and. I can't read my handwriting, so I'm going to have to check the bigger notes here.
By the way.
Say botany.
No.
Fair enough.
Yeah, cold magic and other arcana. That isn't terribly vital to the plot.
I'll note that down somewhere.
Anything to do with like
it
mind control?
Cold and water, wasn't it?
Cold and
Oh, no,
water
it wouldn't
was
be.
the dead man's.
I thought that was what Nesta taught.
No. Nesta teaches cold, but he doesn't teach water.
Right.
Sorry, Ben, what was your question?
Anything to do with like mind control? Would he know any of those kind of spells? Maybe.
No, it wasn't anything to do with mind control.
It was probably the woman who killed him. Like she's the most likely to have access to poisons, but
Or who mind controlled Brandwin, if that is what happened.
yeah.
I guess.
Do you guys think it's worth going to like the Chancellor or someone else who's powerful and telling them what I've heard, or just not? Because he would like to know, but I don't want to, mess with any plans we might have.
Keep it to yourself for now.
I mean, bear in mind, Edward and the Chancellor do not get on.
No.
I mean, yeah, it probably wouldn't be best coming from me.
I mean, I guess he could tell Baylor, and Baylor could pass it on. He's gonna be, he's already a member here and everything. But maybe
You
not.
could tell the
tonight.
Vice Chancellor, just someone who has authority. Someone who would be more believable than,
I think
me.
She seems to like you a lot more than the actual Chancellor.
Yeah, the Chancellor's not fond of you at all, but the Vice Chancellor, she seems to not dislike you.
Yeah, well, she did ask you to strip naked for us, so
She did. Oh, that was one of the mistresses. That wasn't the Vice Chancellor, was it?
I thought it was.
That,
No, it was Illyria, wasn't it?
I think that was Illyria, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually it was Illyria.
Ilaria.
wrong. Whatever.
Ilaria, yeah.
Ilaria, right.
So, do you think I should go to the Vice Chancellor right now and wake her up? Chancellor.
I think probably not, Ben.
There'll be a second murder in the academy if you do that.
Or we could bring it up at the. No, we probably shouldn't bring it up at the debate.
No.
I'm dying to
probably
hear
wouldn't go
what
there.
you've got planned for the debate. From what you said earlier, it sounds like it's going to be interesting.
Oh, well, you can keep waiting. You'll find out. You'll be blown away. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'll just go to bed, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just have a quick break? Sorry, I'll just a comfort break, and I'm going to put the kettle on.
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so Ben, could you? Oh no, you don't need to. I was going to say,
Don't need
could you
what?
give me a roll to see if the Night Stalker demon haunts you tonight? But you got rid of that last week, didn't you?
I did.
That was why Illyria had you strip in the first place, was so that you could find the.
Well, that was her excuse.
that was
that
her
was her
excuse, yes.
It's like right in the middle of his chest. You could have just taken his top.
Well, yeah, she didn't know that.
Yeah.
Come on,
wasn't
come on!
even-
All this magic stuff, and everything's got a price. I don't have any money, so
It wasn't going to be
Have
on
to
his
pay others.
bottom bits and pieces.
What about this lycanthropy?
Did you get the Oh, he made the saving throw against lycanthropy, so he fought it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
yeah.
Okay. So you awake the next morning, and
Actually, slept well for once.
you've actually slept well for the first time in several days, yes. The next day, there's a buzz going around the academy. They're aware of the fact that this morning, Amblev Eskew is going to be making her case for the academy before the academy's High Council, which is, of course, the faculty. Are you all going along to watch this in the public gallery, or are some of you doing something else?
Yeah.
Will the Vice Chancellor be there? Because I want to tell her. And I
The
can
Vice
tell her
Chancellor
while
will
while-
be there, but she'll be actually in the council chamber rather than on the... You might be able to catch her before you go in.
That's. I would like to do that. I'll notify her of what I found.
Right.
Before, yeah.
Okay. You catch the Vice Chancellor just before she goes in. As you run up to her, you can see two sword mages step forward and half draw the swords, but she puts her hand up and says, "Wait, I think he just wants a quick word." She listens to what you have to say and says, "Thank you for informing me. I'll make sure the Chancellor knows." I have to be away now, though, but thank you.
Yeah.
And then she heads
Do one
into
of
the
those
chamber.
bows.
Right, you are.
Whatever.
You do one of those bows.
One of those bows.
I think I know the one you mean, because I think it's the one I attempted to describe when I wrote the following scene. So let's see
Yes,
how
that
well
one.
I did. So you head up the spiral staircase onto the landing that leads in through a set of double doors to the chamber's public gallery, which is raised high above the main chamber itself and looks down through a series of pillars that hold it, or that run all the way from the ground floor of the council chamber right the way through here up to the ceiling itself and hold the whole thing together. Curious students pack the observation balcony of the council chamber, jostling one another so they can get closer to the front to witness this momentous occasion. The press of bodies makes it uncomfortably hot and close. The air is filled with dozens of smells, from pipe tobacco to the chemical aromas that commonly follow alchemists. A frisson of excitement charges the air as the assembled throng speculate on what is about to unfold. On the chamber floor, the faculty staff are gathered to hear the petition. Armed sword mages gather the perimeter and flank the chamber's door. Their grim faces attest to their determination to brook no trouble or disorderly conduct this day. As the Chancellor raps his gavel upon the desk 3 times, Captain Omar Selaluk, commander of the Academy's Sword Mage Guards, nods to 2 of his men, who pull the great doors of the chamber wide open. A hush descends over the chamber, and I'm going to imply that hush by stopping the music so that we've got a hush.
Very
which is
symbolic.
It was very symbolic, wasn't it? I like that bit. A hush descends over the chamber as the envoy from Mordraine strides through the doors. Her dark hair, now touched lightly with grey here and there, is tied into a tight bun behind her head. Her scarlet lips part as she offers a warm smile to the guards on the door, silently mouthing "thank you" to them. Her gait and poise emphasise her commanding presence. The skirting from her formal coat seems to stream out behind her, adding a touch of the theatrical to her entrance. As all eyes are locked upon her, whatever else may be said about this woman, she knows how to command the attention of all those present. Striding across the chamber floor, she bows a deep bow from the waist, sweeping her arms out in a courtly style as she approaches the Chancellor before rising to her full height and speaking. Just a second. Yeah. Yep. Nice one. Okay. Okay, sorry, Marie interrupted me there because she was just passing the room after our comfort break. She's going to cast Puppets of Fate.
Oh, because I just literally typed just a thought Rowena might want to cast Hands of Fate again before.
That's a fail.
Fail, so I'm doing it again.
Okay, go ahead. You can see 1 or 2 of the mages look around you, looking a little bit askance as you attempt to cast this spell, but like you pass it off as just like
I've passed the second time.
Yeah, as half sin muttering to yourself. So you have 1 point in the Puppets of Fate pool.
Yep.
Oh, is it Hands of Fate? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll cast Hands of Fate,
In
and
that
now
case,
I'm
you've got
casting.
2 points in the Hands of Fate pool.
And now I'm casting Puppets of Fate.
Now you're casting.
Whoa, that's more like it.
It is.
And you've got
Yep.
5 points in the Puppets of Fate pool.
And
Puppets.
if you ever need to cast Hands of Fate again, you've got the font, haven't you? So
Yeah, that was what it was for.
Well, you remember you restored all your magic points just a little moment ago
Yeah.
when you had some rest.
Yeah,
as well.
but I've just burned through 14 of my
These-
24 to
These
do
are
this.
expensive spells
Yeah,
to cast, aren't
yeah.
they? Yeah. Okay, so let me see, where am I recapping from? So, as she glides around the room delivering her speech, she locks eyes in turn, each with a different mage, but always making sure her eyes are in contact with somebody, so that every person listening to the petition feels as if she's personally connecting to them. Honoured faculty... Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember what I said earlier? I'm going to use Tony.
Ribbit.
This is just going to be him randomly when she'll say something. I'll poke him and go, Ribbit.
I tell you
I'm
what,
going to choose a place in the
Amazing.
room with like really good acoustics,
acoustics, okay.
so that the Ribbit just and then I'll just stand there and try and look.
Give me a perception hearing test. See if you can find a place with really good acoustics.
just look innocent, you know.
I might just look smug.
Yeah.
Okay, you managed to find somewhere that's got quite good acoustics, and because you've generated 6 points of stunts, I'm going to say that she finds this significantly distracting.
Yes.
That she will suffer a -2 penalty on her roll at the end of this speech.
Imagine having your evil plan ruined by a weird little swamp, which is
With a frog.
a frog.
That she
So,
doesn't even call a frog, that she calls a toad.
yeah.
There we are.
What I'm going to say, Marie, is as I deliver the speech, you just say ribbit whenever Toadie says ribbit. Okay?
Oh my
And
God,
at the
it's
end of the
gonna be
speech, when she would normally get her persuasion test, I will apply a -2 penalty to it because you're distracting her just enough. Honoured faculty of the great Starsreach Academy, may I begin by saying what a privilege it is to be permitted to speak before you this morning.
Ribbit.
I humbly beg your leave to present my petition for your consideration. The Chancellor speaks. Our leave is granted. Present your petition for our consideration. Drawing herself up to her full height, the envoy begins. The historical neutrality of the Academy is famed throughout the land. Since its inception, the Academy has refused to take an open hand in the affairs of state. I respect this, I do. It can take a great deal of self-discipline to remain neutral in the affairs of the world around, and the Academy's dedication to this grand tradition is admirable. However, I contend that although the traditions can be the glue that hold us together, these bonds can sometimes become restraints as well. I have been instructed by Mordraine to present a petition.
Ribbit. Ribbit.
She kind of glances round. You can see one or two other people starting to look to see what's going on as well. Yes, I have been instructed by Mordraine to present a petition to the Academy, entreating you to abandon your historical position of neutrality. He seeks a simple agreement from the Academy to declare for him. He hopes that this will bring peace and unity to the land. That it will help to legitimize his reign in the eyes of the people.
Ribbit.
Of course, some of you might ask, why should you legitimize the man that many would call usurper? This is a good question. But consider this in making your objection. In making your objection to the petition, is that not in itself abandoning neutrality?
Ribbit.
You may not have. Where is that frog?
We're all trying desperately not to laugh.
You can see the Chancellor looks around and says, "Whoever has brought a frog into the chamber, please keep it quiet." Where was
Just
I?
responds with ribbit. Silence. Absolute silence. Toadie knows his place.
You may not have actively declared for the rebellion, but if your decision not to declare for Mordraine is based solely upon your perception of the legitimacy of his claim, is that
Ribbit.
not in itself a political question?
Ribbit.
Is that not the political question choosing your path for you? Murmurs run round the gallery. While several of the gathered student body agree with her point, in principle at least, they still see no reason to abandon neutrality as far as you can gather. But you worry. Perhaps she is winning some over to her cause. Of course, that's only a plea not to let your question about Mordraine's legitimacy rule your decision. Why should you abandon generations of noble neutrality? Mordraine will respect whatever answer you give, whether it's yea or nay.
Ribbit.
So, why not carry on as you have always done?
Ribbit.
I would argue that the kingdom is hurting. Many of the evils that are laid at Mordraine's door plagued this kingdom long before he ascended to the throne.
Ribbit.
Like a pig frogs.
Practitioners of magic were viewed with suspicion everywhere beyond these walls. The poor grew poorer while the rich turned a blind eye. The king was no...
Okay, I'm just going to say right here that it's not going to be Toadie Ribbit, and it's going to be Rowena making a snort of utter derision.
The king was no friend to the common people. Imagine a kingdom where the intellectual elite need not hide behind walls for fear of prejudice of others, where you can influence the decisions of the powerful instead of filling the courts of the land with those who let their fears rule them. We can fill them with the intellectual elite. Instead of rank and privilege being handed from one generation to another by dint of naught but the fortunes of birth, we could build a nation where such things are earned by talent and intellect, not by having the right family or the right name.
Or the right frog.
Or the right frog. A shiver of excitement runs around the room, and even in the stuffy crush of the gathered academics, your blood runs cold as you realise that Amblev is winning hearts and minds of some here gathered. How her words are affecting the faculty council is hard to know. Their inscrutable faces remain emotionless, but among the student body, her words are finding their mark among some of the more easily impressionable.
Well, the rest are all pissing themselves laughing that someone
At the
sneaked
frog,
the frog in. Yeah.
In conclusion, I implore you, abandon your tradition of neutrality and help us wash away the shackles of the old kingdom. Free the people from the immutable chains of tradition, and we will move forward not as a kingdom, but as a meritocracy of the mind, as a land ruled by reason and wisdom, by intellect and by learning, a nation that can become a shining beacon for others to follow.
A dictatorship.
Thank you for listening to my petition. I await your decision with earnest anticipation.
Okay, just at that point where she's going to be expecting applause, what she's going to get instead is this. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. So anyone who applauds sounds as if they agree with a frog.
Okay. So with that, she bows deeply again to the faculty in a further flourish of perfected judge theatrics. She bows to the gallery as well. As she does, her gesture or possibly her words are met with a smattering of applause that are punctured or punctuated, perhaps, by the sound of a frog.
And if she's making a roll, then...
More worryingly, you see two among the faculty council join the applause. Masters Etienne and Master Joachim. Smiling warmly, the envoy turns upon her heels and walks from the chamber. It's now time to roll Amblev's... It's now time to roll Amblev's communication persuasion test. This is the number you're going to have to beat. when you deliver your petition. However, having said that, she's at -2 because of the damn frog. One of the best envoys in the country. And she's possibly scuppered by a frog. So you should now see a picture of the envoy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's whom she is. And her not perception, man, communication, persuasion test. This is going to startle you when you see this, mate.
Though we do have
Yes, it will if it ever rolls.
hands of fate and puppets of fate.
Looks a bit like Eva Green.
She does a bit, actually, now you come to mention it. Yeah. Okay, so she's rolled 18 and generated 3 stunt points. However, because of Toadie distracting her, so Amblev's persuasion test, 16. So by her standards, that's pretty damn poor, because you'll notice she gets +9.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Puppets of Fate.
Oh, shit.
This
Right.
is why I cast it. I've got 5 tries
It
at this.
could get worse yet. Oh, God, you're going to just expand them all on her. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure technically you're allowed to do that, but I think on this occasion, because her argument is built up over a course of a series of things that she's said rather than one, and it's just extrapolated as a single test, I think I'm going to allow that, actually. Even though normally you could only use it the once, I think I'll allow it on this occasion. So, she has... What's your spell power?
My spell power is just... Oh, wait. I had 5 spell points. Stunt points on the spell.
Did you know?
My target number is 13, so I can increase the spell power, and I think the maximum I can
Is
put
by
into that is
3.
3.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use 3 of my stunt points to do that, so my spell power is 16.
So our first saving throws a fail, so she gets to re-roll. She has to re-roll and take whichever was the lowest of the 2 rolls.
Yeah.
So let's try it again, see if she gets worse than she did the first time. That would have been a better roll, so she keeps the worst one. She keeps the 16.
Can keep going until she gets the worst one, I guess.
Like I say, because technically this dice roll aggregates a number of points she made all bundled together, I will allow you to use it more than once on her, even though that's usually
Our
outside
first
of the
one was
scope.
actually a fail, wasn't it? What was it? Because she matched my spell power?
She matched your spell power. She didn't match your
My
spell power.
spell power was 16.
And she rolled
and-
15, so it was a fail. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fail. Right, okay.
So that's why she had to roll again.
She re-rolled, but it was
Yeah.
better than the first roll that she
So
did.
she
Yeah.
keeps the poorest of the 2.
She's keeping the...
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So-
going to leave it at that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So because your delivery of your petition is a response to this, you can use the hands of fate points you've got when you get to roll.
Right.
Now the way we'll
Guys,
work,
do what? How? Oh, sorry. I'll let you.
the way we're
I thought
going
you were
to
finished.
the way we're going to do this is rather than me interrupting your flow every 5 minutes when I think you deserve a roll, we will aggregate your total attempt into a single roll as well. I will
Right.
make a mark every time I think you scored a decent hit, if you know what I mean. You said something that would resonate, and each mark I will give you a +1 bonus when the roll actually comes. But you're still going to have to beat 16, which is, it's still a significant number to beat, although by Amblev's standards that's pretty poor.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything? Oh, well, sorry. So, the first petition having been heard, the council adjourns for 1.5 hours for lunch, and will hear your petition afterwards. Does anybody have anything they wish to do in that 1.5 hours, or are you just going to sort of limbo?
Well,
I'm going to try and get my spell points back up. You can take a rest for
For an hour, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
D6 plus your intelligence you can get back.
Also, can
I'm
I
going
just
to-
say, I dare not be the spokesperson as I am a mage of this facility.
Oh God,
We
that's a
need
point.
somebody with neutrality, so maybe
Do you want me to
Rowena?
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
Okay, I'm going to warn you all. The first thing I'm going to do when I go up to that podium is I'm going to take Toadie out of my hair and put him on the front of it. Well,
Ben, what were you going to say?
I mean, Edwy, it'll be speaking to, because then I can use my etiquette.
Oh
hopefully.
shit.
My communication's only a 0, but you know.
But if I
mine's a
use my
2.
etiquette, I'll be getting a +3.
Okay,
I
so
will be praying to the mother before we go in.
and honestly, I would do that if you're going to let Edward speak in front of the mages.
Yeah.
He's only spoken to 3. He's upset 1 already.
Yeah.
Having said that, I
I've
suppose
got a
that means
suggestion.
that
yeah,
means
I think
twice
so.
as many like him as don't. So your suggestion, yes, go ahead.
My suggestion would be that he comes up on the podium with me and I do the whole my advisor thing.
You can do. You can have as many of you speak for the petition as you wish. But you do have to decide ahead of time because people can't be shouting down from the balcony. So once you go in, the people who say that they're going to be on the floor presenting the petition are the only ones that will be allowed to speak at that point. So decide.
Well, I
who's going.
was thinking, maybe you could have like Edward's very he's got etiquette, he's well spoken. He could be the spokesperson, or you guys are the Ghost Riders. You
Well,
tell
I
me what to say.
think Rowena and Edward. I mean, I think whoever's going up can just speak whenever they feel they've got a point to make, I guess. I'll go up, but I will only chirp up now and then, I think, if there's anything I think that hasn't been mentioned yet. Because we have already talked a little bit about what we were going to say. And,
Okay.
Rowena and Marie are pretty good at putting arguments across, and Edward has etiquette and everything. So whereas I don't have anything like that.
Right. Okay.
So I'm not going to be talking a lot, but I'll be sort of support, I guess.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll make this an assisted roll when the time comes to roll, which will be the end of your argument.
Yeah.
The assisted roll means everybody who spoke gets to make a roll.
Right.
And we use the highest. Also, if stunt points are generated, we use the highest stunt dice, even if that doesn't come from the person who got the highest roll.
Right.
So, for example, if Edward rolled 1, 2, 6, and 1, 6, that would only give him 9 points plus whatever, right?
Yeah.
And Rowena scored 6, 6, 4. And therefore, you would use her stats because she got the highest roll, but you would use Edward's 6 stunt points rather than her 4. That's how it'll work. So whoever gets the highest roll, you treat that as the total, but you use the stunt dice for the purpose of what stunts were generated from whoever rolled the highest stunt dice number. That's how a combined effort like this will work. So, give me 2 seconds while I go for a comfort break. You've got that long to decide about who's going to say what, and then we're launching into the petition.
I think it'll sort of stand us in good stead with our arguments, with the fact that all 3 of us are from 3 different factions as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already
There's a
working
couple of
together.
points I want to make on this, and the first one is that them maintaining neutrality. The worst case scenario is them siding with Mordraine. The median outcome would be them maintaining neutrality. If things are starting to fail, then I'll just try and swing them back towards neutrality.
What do you
the
guys
best
think
case
about
scenario is them siding with us, basically.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about mentioning the recently dead boy?
No.
No.
No,
No.
no, we will lose the room if we mention a murder within the academy because
Yeah.
it's cast. They want to think of themselves. She's played into the fact they think of themselves as noble. They think
Yeah.
of themselves as actually they think of themselves as better than the nobles because they think they're intellectual. That's what she's played to. She's promised them power because they've got brains and they're
Yeah,
buying
exactly.
it. So what we need to do is we need to undermine that argument. We need to say that this is not what they'll be offering you isn't true power.
Yeah, it wouldn't give you power. You'd be under a dictatorship.
Dictatorship.
You know. Yeah.
All they're doing is giving you the illusion of power.
Yeah.
So we need to hammer home that basically that by being sitting neutral in this, they're already on Mordraine's side.
Exactly.
Because if they do nothing, then Mordraine carries on unopposed. Because as he's shown, he will stamp on the poor and he will stamp on the faithful in order to maintain and to expand his power.
Yep.
Right, sorry about that. Everybody still here?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Excellent. Right, good. Where are we? Let me just open the section I'm going to need next, which will be your petition. So the party's petition is heard. Here we go. And I'll pop that out. So later that afternoon, your petition is heard. The council have not yet voted on Amblev's petition yet, because I've used yet twice, so that was a redundancy, I apologise. Because they are aware that your petition is likely to make counterpoints, and they wish to take those into account before they do. You see that the chamber is laid out exactly as before, and above the public gallery is once again crowded with people as they crush in to try and hear your petition. The doors open and you're led in, and after a few moments the Chancellor raps his gavel 3 times upon his desk. Boomf, boomf, boomf. Present your petition.
Okay.
Right.
Right. We're
Get going then.
I'm actually going to send, even though I'm going to speak, I want Edward to go in first, because if we want all eyes in the room on us, we want the elf at the front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
describe how you enter the room.
Well, I've spent the past hour and a half making myself look very fancy.
Okay.
I've dressed in like the finest clothes I could find, and I've done my hair in a traditional elven way. Really want to draw attention to myself. So I'll walk in, like ears on full show.
As you do,
Very
you can
fancy
see
walk.
that Mistress Ilaria starts fanning herself faster.
Yeah, we figured that was.
And
You're
then
totally.
I'll have a couple buttons undone on my shirt.
And faster still. Does anybody
Yeah, we
else think
just sent Legolas in first. It's
it's
fine.
warm in here all of us? Anybody? No, just me then. Priam wiggles his eyebrows and says, "No, it's not just you."
Put your coat on, love. You've pulled.
So as you stride in, having done yourself up, is there anything else you're going to do, or are you waiting for everyone else to arrive?
I want the
totally
representative
giving her a
of the
wink.
faithful next, because that's another star. Because the faithful
Yep.
are supposed to be neutral as well, and that's already saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Have you done anything special, or have you just like slopped up in your dented armour with bloodstains?
I am always presented nicely,
Okay.
aside from all the scars on my face. I will have prayed and made sure I look presentable. Of course, I would have,
Because sorry, go ahead.
cleaned up because I'm what?
Because you're desperately trying to counterbalance what's going to happen when Rowena comes in.
Don't be mean to Rowena.
Okay, you
Just
take.
because my frog ruined your plan.
She's clipped the bow. on a frog, so that'll do, right?
Yeah, and the frog. I put it because yes, we put a bow on the frog. I believe we're doing that.
Something
Okay.
seriously wrong with these people. Okay, so
Okay, and I'll follow them in because by this point they're probably expecting the Queen of the Fey Folk, and instead what they're getting is me,
yes,
kind of a short swamp witch.
yeah.
I'll help Rowena make herself, like, look a little bit like
It's
brush her
like-
hair and,
So after having spent half an hour trying to make Rowena presentable, she pretty much looks the same as she did before, just slightly more uncomfortable than normal.
Yeah, we'll just stick with the bow on the frog or the
Okay.
toad or whatever.
Right.
You s-
So I'm actually still hiding the frog about me because I want this to be a surprise.
right, okay.
Yeah, but I'll.
So
I'll
because you'd
follow,
mentioned you wanted a podium is brought in for you, so you stride up to the podium.
I'll
okay.
scramble up.
Right.
Yeah, get up there, and when I'm sure everybody's looking,
Mhm.
I'm going to take the frog out and put it on the front of the podium, complete with the bow on its head.
Right. You can see certain members of the faculty like looking at one another like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm
You can
just hiding my face with my hand.
yes. You can
I'm peeking through my fingers.
I
Fair
think
enough.
we
Yeah.
should at least get a +1 for the frog with the bow on.
No, I suspect
I think the student body have probably just nearly died laughing.
the student body find it amusing. Chancellor Ulstrom doesn't. So you'll actually have a -1 to your roll for him, but not for the rest.
Oh,
Well, not
fuck 'em.
not for most of the rest, actually.
Because what I'm basically saying to them is, I disrupted the last one deliberately.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what this is about. This
I
is
know
this
it
is
is,
about
yeah.
power.
It is,
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Starsreach, isn't it?
Starsreach.
Yes.
Mages and students of Starsreach, we've heard from the representative of Mordraine. She promised you many things. She promised you power.
Boris Johnson's in
She
the house.
promised
That was a general murmur of agreement from the audience. There.
and yet you think Mordraine will sacrifice some of his power to you. Don't make the frog ribbit.
Quiet in
Historically-
the chamber. Let the woman speak.
Historically, Starsreach has chosen neutrality. Historically, Starsreach has taken the brightest students to become mages. And yet, I stand before you, a mage. I've never studied at Starsreach, and there are many like me. And Mordraine hunts us through swamps and through woods, and Mordraine would wipe us out. Mordraine promises you power, and holds one of your own in a cell.
Yep.
Historically, yes, you have chosen neutrality and called it nobility. I come from the poor, and we suffer while you're neutral. We suffer if you choose Mordraine's side. We'll probably still suffer if you choose the side of the rebellion. I ask you to look at your consciences and say, if we look upon evil and we do nothing, what does that make us? You talk to me of your intellect, you tell me that you're wise beyond anything that a simple swamp witch could understand, and yet I see you look upon evil and turn your face away. And I ask you to stop looking away. I stand before you with a representative of the fae folk, the elves, and a representative of the faithful. The faithful too traditionally took your position of neutrality, and yet some have risen up against Mordraine. You could ask We could argue all day about whether he can legally rule the country, whether might makes right.
Mhm.
But I simply ask you, all of you, as humans, as people, people who have suffered, people who have lived, to no longer turn your face away from the suffering of others. That's all I ask. I'm going to step back and
Okay.
probably fall off the fucking podium. But
You do
I'll be ready to
stumble
catch
as you
her so she
step
doesn't
off
show her
the.
bloomers to everyone.
You do stumble as you step off the. So you've just delivered like the best speech of your life, and as you step off the podium, you stumble, and, um, and Celeste has to catch you slightly, and you think, "Oh God, typical." I'm amazed it didn't land in cat litter. And as you do, is anybody else speaking, or are you leaving the speech at that so far?
I mean, I'll add a few things
Okay,
in.
go on.
I'll stand up and I'll say I am not much of a speaker as such, but you all know where the faithful stand, and what Rowena here says is very true. When the likes of a usurper goes unchallenged, they are able then to do as they please. And this doesn't just stand for the poor, it stands for the likes of us, the faithful. It stands for those who are your friends and family. I am sure there are many of you who are believers in the Mother, and I tell you, even if you are not, that does not matter. All three of us come from different backgrounds, different factions, and we have been able to come to agreements. If you sit back and do nothing, you are essentially still supporting a side in doing so, because you are allowing a usurper to go unchallenged. And then if you side with a usurper, they may offer you power, as Rowena has said, but it would simply be an illusion. You would be under his control. It would be a dictatorship. You would not be given as much choice in what you were able to do as it seems at first. You have seen what he has already done. He is in control of the undead. Would you really wish to work alongside something such as this?
You see a handful of people shrugging because the faithful's squeamishness about the undead is not something that's common amongst the mages of the academy.
Yep. And I'll say I'm aware that many of you may even practice necromancy yourselves. But this is for certain purposes. Would you want to follow behind an army of the undead? Would you want to follow someone who is himself undead?
Bear in mind, you're starting to make a case for neutrality there.
Oh yeah, but
that's the second worst scenario, Brian.
exactly.
The least worst.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What we are hoping for is for everybody to begin to work together. We already have several different factions just amongst us three here. And we feel that if we can move on from the usurper, things don't have to go back to exactly how they were before. But we won't be able to move past this dictatorship that we are all living under without working together to overcome it. And let me just say? I'm just looking through my notes.
While Jenny's looking through her notes, I want to speak to Ben for a 2nd. Ben, there's something I'd
Yeah.
like your character to do. Right,
I
you
was,
already
I
look.
was
You
gonna,
already. You may already have had this idea yourself. You already look completely otherworldly. I'd like you to tell them the Dryad's prophecy.
Oh yes, yeah.
But I want Ben to do it. I want it to come from the elf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was actually gonna bring up a point of not being in the country long, but already seen like the devastation Mordraine's caused.
Yeah.
I'll do that when Jenny's finished, though. Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, I'll just, as I said, my character isn't really someone who, communication isn't that great. She's not really a speaker, but she says that, you are not able to, under Mordraine's rule, you have seen what he has done. You're not able to even practice your own faith openly. You aren't able to do a great deal many things. He is created an existence of fear, and if we are able to work together, then I believe we can right this and perhaps come to a better way of living within the kingdom than ever before. If we all are able to have our say, and we are all equally able to participate and debate and give our opinions, it is a lot better than just one individual telling everybody else what they can and cannot do with force. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Edward, do you have anything to add?
I do.
Oh dear.
I do. Take a step up at the podium, and I'll take a.
Unaccountably
quick
rotten
second.
fruit just materializes out of thin air and zings to. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Go ahead.
Is the woman in the crowd? Is she watching?
Which
Amblev.
one? The mistress Ilaria? No, she's not in the crowd. She's
The
part of it.
envoy.
Ah, right. Make a perception seeing test, please. Searching. Well, no, I'll make it seeing.
Oh, fuck me.
Wait, I'll come and have a look. Oh dear.
Oh.
Yeah.
It would have just been a quick glance.
Yeah, you kind of glance around, but you don't spot her.
Well, I'll say, as you all may have gathered, I'm not from here. And you might be wondering, why am I here speaking on behalf of, well, your country and your kind? Do I have a right to? Maybe not. But I've been in this, I might not have been in this country long, but I've been in here long enough to see the death and the destruction that Mordraine has caused in the very short space of time he's been around. In the Queendom, if any of you has visited, you'd notice the place is beautiful. It's full of life. It's, people practice and, talk openly about thoughts or worries they may have to neighbours, while here you don't see that anymore. I've been here when I was a child, and I remember talking to some locals. They told me about. I don't know.
You were doing well.
They told me of worries they have. They told me of dreams they have, or some of them even spoke, like how they don't agree with a practice that's going about. But now people, if you ask them what their opinion is, they run away or they shut you out. People don't talk freely anymore at the fear that I might be a spy for Mordraine, and I might report them, and then they're shipped away and never seen again. Or they are seen again, but they're just one of Mordraine's many undead. The only reason, in my eyes, that Mordraine hasn't, added you to his army is because together, the mages, they're far too powerful for him to take out directly. and the only way he can get to you is by joining forces with you with the promise of power that you're never going to get. Why would he share an ounce of the power when he can have it for himself? Because the second your backs are turned, what's to say that he's not going to kill you? Like, he's wiped out the countless amount of towns and villages that you see along the path. I had something else I forgot I was going to say.
He would be.
Yeah, I'll say not too long ago, I was, with the people you see before me, and like kind of gesture towards them too. But like we were going about our day, we were having a meal together, just trying to live a normal life as anyone would. And we were chased by Mordraine's forces. We did nothing wrong, but we were chased. They don't know that. We did nothing wrong, but we were chased. Some of us got away, some of us didn't. Unfortunately, many were captured. In fact, I'm sure one of your own was captured. I spied one of the Academy's mages across from me. Never seen him again. We've been here a few days, and well, we've heard he's missing. I probably shouldn't have said that. Anyway.
Lena already mentioned it, so.
Yeah, he's missing. Maybe Mordraine's captured him. Maybe he's still alive. We don't know. But obviously we do. Anyway, as we were fleeing, we came across some Traitors. And I'll pause for a moment to let everyone let that sink into everyone.
Okay, you see as it sinks in, as a little bit of excitement starts to ripple through the crowd.
And the Dryads spoke of a prophecy, a vision that they had. At first, they weren't happy that we had been encroached on their land, but then once we explained that we were being chased by undead, led by this usurper who just seized power unlawfully.
Remember, the prophecy is on a text document, I think, somewhere, so you'd read it out, maybe.
Oh, I'll actually read it out. Okay. The nymph's vision. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I'll go on. I'll say the vision. What they told us was a vision came to us at night. It shows a forest's awful plight, the trees and plants warped by the one who took the mantle, put it on. At first, a fist we saw raised up in might. God, I can't read today. A fist we saw raised up in might. A chance, perhaps, if it unite, but all along each finger fails, till all the lands cries out and wails. Find the one that laid the bait and visit them at Traitors' fate. Only then can 5 be one in their strength, the vision being undone. Again, I'll pause, and I'll say for those of you...
Can I just say that, Ben, that's your mic drop moment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you pause and go ahead.
Do you think I should stop talking? I was going to just kind of like spell it out for people real quick.
I mean,
no, they like to pretend they're clever so they can fucking work it out themselves.
That's true. Yeah.
This is your mic drop.
Yeah, I'll stop. I'll give a bow and I'll say thank you.
Well, thank you for those assembled for your petition, and thank you to Lady Amblev, who looks up into the crowd above, for hers. If you would like to return to the public gallery, we will adjourn for a half an hour. Make it an hour. We will adjourn for an hour, and then we will give our decision.
I'm going to go in the hall and I'm going to pace. I'm going to pace and I'm going to keep saying to to Edward and Celeste that I've messed it up, I've fucked it up, I've messed it up. They won't.
As you're saying it, you hear a warm female voice say, "On the contrary, I think you did rather well."
Oh, and who is this?
Oh, it's
It's Amblev Eskew.
Amblev.
You turn round quite surprised as she's standing there, and she's actually smiling quite warmly at you. If ever I heard somebody who was as convincing as myself, I would think it would be the three of you, all I can say is good luck with your petition, and
A backhanded compliment there.
may the best of us win.
Can I flirt with her?
See
You
if she
can.
walks away.
She's
See if
not
she
walking
walks
away
away.
yet. She's not walking
Oh,
away yet
damn.
because the elf's flirting with her. Go ahead.
The elf is flirting with her.
Mhm.
What's the
such a tart, Ben.
what's the flirt with the enemy roll?
It would be a communication seduction test.
Oh my god.
13's okay.
Okay, let me just have a
Wow.
look at her. What's names?
I'm gonna guess from the
Willpower?
fact that her
Oh,
Is this where she has a strong attraction to elves?
she's got. Well, she appears to have a moderately strong attraction to this elf.
Oh,
Good.
right, okay.
She is responding positively to your attempts to flirt.
Excellent.
Or she's flirting back. Let's put it that way.
Excellent.
I'm just gonna like look at them both and roll my eyes.
She shrugs and says, "It's impossible to say at this moment which way the Academy will vote. My work was cut out for me before I ever arrived, trying to convince them to abandon their neutrality.
Yes,
Still,
well,
that is what
okay.
Mordraine keeps me around for, the difficult conversations."
Keeps you around.
Hmm.
Would you not prefer to live your own life? Do what you want to do?
Does anybody really live their own life and do entirely what they want to do?
Well, to more extent. Some people, to more extent, yeah. Some people don't have a boot ready to squash them at a moment's notice.
I think in this country, we always had the boot. That it's just
Yes.
that under the old king, it was a velvet boot, whereas under Mordraine, he makes no attempt to hide the steel within.
Yes, and why does it have to be one of those two options, though? Why
Perhaps
can't
it
we
doesn't.
work together to come to a better way of doing things?
Well, perhaps it doesn't have to be one of those options. Perhaps history will decide on a third option, a third way, if you will.
Mhm.
Who knows?
Well, I'll ask her if she was to run a country, how would she do it?
I wouldn't run a country. I'm a diplomat, not a politician.
Well, how would you have the country ran if you had a choice?
Fairly.
And how
Ribbit.
how does Mordraine run the country fairly?
I'm terribly
It
sorry
doesn't.
I'm terribly sorry about Toady. It's just that when he hears a lie, he ribbits.
She chortles a bit. He didn't hear any lies. He heard some creative representation of the truth. But
Yes.
think
Well,
nothing
some would
of it.
call that lies.
It was an
Some
excellent.
simple swamp witches would just call it a pack of lies.
Well, that's the advantage I have over you. You have certain advantages over me, but that's the one I have over you. I can see a more complicated path than simple left and right, simple right and wrong. The men and women in there are complicated people. They like complexity. They like to be reminded that they are smarter than most. So I played on that a little bit. You
There are
played on what
different
you had,
kinds.
which was theatrics of a different type to mine, but effective nonetheless.
There are different kinds of intelligence, of course.
Absolutely. Anyway, I think I'm going to adjourn briefly. It was nice meeting you all. I will see you again later when we adjourn to hear what the decisions are. As I said earlier, let the best of us win. Whichever of us that is.
I'd say good luck, but well, I'm not a liar.
Then I'll wish you good luck, because I am. And she turns and walks away.
Hey, well, she's admitted she's a liar.
Mhm.
Did we record that?
I'm going to say.
I
I'm going
love
to
this
say
character.
to
She's
Toadie,
great.
and yes, we hope she gets that disease. Yes, that one. That one we can't cure. Let's
Yeah.
hope for that. Yes, and I hope it itches.
Okay. So, having sparred with Lady Amblev in the passageway for about 5-10 minutes, is there anything else you want to do in the hour before they reconvene? Other than any mages can roll 1d6 and add their intelligence, they'll get that many magic points back for the course of the hour.
I'll probably just go get changed back into my armor and everything.
Okay,
I'm done being fancy.
ready for it all kicking off. Yes.
Oh, great! A whole
Yeah.
two. Fantastic.
Right. I'm
Wow.
going to be praying furiously because I know that my characters are not that great at speaking, but
Okay.
you know, she did her best.
She did indeed. Yeah, you all
Yep.
did fairly well.
Rowena's going to go and try and find somewhere where she can drink, even if it involves going back to the murdered boys' room and drinking his brandy.
Well, before you all do, let's have your persuasion rolls, please. Your communication persuasion rolls.
Can I use my etiquette?
You can use your etiquette instead, yes.
I
Excellent.
mean, this is where we need to use the hands of
Oh,
fate.
shit.
Yeah,
Sake.
I got 14. Oh no, Edward got 14. I got 8.
Oh my god.
So who do? Right. Do you want to reroll? How have I got in hands of fate? Hands, I've got 1,
2.
2. Hands, I've got 2. Right, Jenny. Let's both of us reroll.
Oh, that's puppet. No, hands doesn't let you reroll.
Ah, right. Okay.
Hands adds
just
to the
bumps it
total.
up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna add my 2 from hands.
Yeah.
And that would
Edward's
match
roll.
what the other lady got. We both
Yeah, I
got
got
16.
11.
Could you then read
You weren't
fast
speaking
hands
though,
of
so you
fate?
don't get to
Oh,
add.
Right.
Can
So,
yeah.
Go on, Marie.
I'm just gonna add my 2 from hands onto Edward's roll because he got 14.
So that's 16 total. And whatever adjustments I noted for your points that you made. So I will tell you
okay.
now that during the course of your speech, everybody gained some plus points,
Okay.
and some people also added some negative points. Because some people said things that actually wouldn't work too well in the ears of the Academy. But everybody
Definitely me.
scored some points that would add as well. So the only question is whether it was enough.
Can
I
Rowena-
definitely insulted them again.
Can
Rowena what?
Rowena cast Hands of Fate again?
She can cast Hands of Fate again, but there's nothing more to be rolled right now.
Alright, fair enough.
You can't like cast it and then retroactively apply it to a roll
No.
you've made before the casting. So
Gotcha.
unless you're expecting it to make other rolls for something, it's not really worth spending the points.
Possibly, but you know.
I mean, if you think there might be something coming up that would require rolls, by all means.
Just yell, I object, and then stick it on there. Maybe it'll convince them.
Okay, so after a rather tense hour, you all file back into the chamber. The school secretary rises and says, "There will be 2 votes this evening. The first vote will be on the first petition." A pregnant hush descends upon the gallery as the council takes their seat. Rising to address them, the secretary speaks. "We will now vote upon the first petition laid before us by Lady Amblev Eskew. For the purposes of this, I must make it clear that we will vote a second time upon the second petition, where we were asked to join the rebellion. If we agree to reject Lady Amblev's petition. If the vote is to accept Lady Amblev's petition, then there will be no second vote. Is this clear to all? General
Yes.
murmur of consent. We will now vote upon the petition of Lady Amblev Eskew. The motion is that we abandon our tradition of neutrality and declare for Mordraine. I have called a single vote for each of you. You will make You will cast one vote apiece. You may cast your vote to reject the petition, in which case say only the word reject. You will vote to accept the petition, in which case speak only the word accept. Finally, you may abstain. For the sake of clarity, a vote to accept the petition is a vote to abandon our neutrality and declare for Mordraine. Do you understand? A murmur ripples around the faculty as they nod their heads and signal their understanding. Then we shall begin. Each of the faculty will speak in turn. Captain Omar. Reject. Mistress Ilaria. Reject. Master Joachim. Accept. Master Etienne. Remember you saw this guy applauding Amblev earlier as well. Master Etienne. Reject.
Oh, interesting.
Master Solomon. Reject. Master Priam. Reject.
Bloody hell.
Master Escallion. Reject. Bursa Nestor. Accept.
No.
Of course, we shagging it. Try not to shout, he's shagging around.
Vice Chancellor Selenica. Reject. The Chancellor rises to his feet. The Starsreach Academy votes to reject the petition to abandon our neutrality or declare for Mordraine.
Yes.
We will therefore move upon the second vote. He sits back down. The
To be honest,
secretary
guys,
stands.
to be honest, even if they maintain their neutrality, right, we've still won because it means they won't back Mordraine.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know now that at least they're definitely not joining the enemy. You've done enough for that.
Yeah, we've done enough for that.
Have you done enough to have them join your side is another question.
Yeah.
The school secretary rises and you're about to discover. We
You're
will
going to
now...
tell us we have to wait till next week, aren't you?
I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. We're going to resolve that bit. I have another point where we will break and it will be great. But you will find out tonight.
I was about to get a bus over and
A bus to Stanley at this time of night. Good luck with that.
yeah, well, through you.
We will now vote on the second petition to come before us today. The petition was placed before us by Rowena Shadowend, Celeste of the Faithful, and by Edriad Durleth of the Elves. This time it calls upon us to declare for the resistance. To do so would make the
That's
Academy...
interesting.
Sorry?
That's interesting.
He said
You
resistance,
said
not
resistance,
rebellion.
not rebellion.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of important use of language in this bit.
Yeah.
To do so would make the Academy active combatants in a civil war. For the sake of clarity, your responses should be as follows. To reject the petition, answer neutrality. To accept the petition, answer war.
Oh, really?
You may abstain by answering abstain. Do you understand the gravity of the question laid before you today? The assembled masses nod solemnly, indicating their understanding. Captain Omar. War.
Yay!
Master Joachim. Neutrality.
Fuck.
Mistress Ilaria. War.
Yeah.
Master Etienne. Oh, this is one of the swing votes, so let me just see if you've done enough. Yeah, this was higher than... Oh, shit, right, okay. Master Etienne. Unbalance. War.
Yeah.
Solomon. Solomon. I'm thinking. Master Solomon, I must ask you to make a decision.
Quick, get me.
Brian.
Flirt with him.
Yeah?
Brian,
Yeah, go ahead.
can I use puppets of fate?
No, because there are no rules being made
No,
at this point.
see, this is this. I thought I'd try. God, you can't blame me for trying, can you?
No,
I
no.
don't know.
Master Solomon, I must press you for an answer. Do you wish to abstain? War.
I'm going to take the frog out and stroke the frog. Yeah.
He said war.
Did he?
War.
He said war.
He said war.
What is
Master Priam, neutrality.
Oh my god.
Master Escallion, war.
Yes. I think they've won.
Bursa Nestor,
I think that.
neutrality.
That's surprising.
Vice Chancellor Solenica,
That's surprising, actually.
war. Chancellor Ustrum, as this vote would lead us into war, your vote will be counted twice as Chancellor.
Oh.
Please vote.
He's going to take neutrality. He's neutral. He's always fought for
Mhm.
neutrality.
Wow.
Chancellor Ustrum rises to his feet and solemnly addresses the gathering. You all know that I have always upheld the traditions of this academy. You know I believe passionately in our neutrality. That I could never in good conscience set that aside. He pauses, his head bowed a moment before he looks up once more, now his eyes blazing with anger. But they have not left us with this choice this day. This day, one of our own was murdered within our walls in these hallowed halls. The murder was an act of war committed by an agent of Mordraine in his name. This act has ended our neutrality. This act has left me with no choice. I vote war.
Oh my god.
We declare for the uprising.
Yes!
Elaria, sound the horn of Escallion. Let
my
all
God.
the
Oh,
land
shit.
of Alidon hear it. Let them know that for the first time in our history, the Academy of Starsreach rides to war. Let Mordraine tremble in our wrath. Captain Omar, place those we know to be in Mordraine's agents under arrest.
Oh wow.
Chaos erupts in the gallery as bodies press against one another, some seeking to leave the room, others crushing towards the gallery to gaze over. In the hall, sword mages advance to arrest Chancellor Nestor, who makes a break for the doors, trying to blast a path through the sword mages. The other faculty members, taken aback by the turn of events, are slow to react. All save Ilaria, who's already on her way to sound the horn of Escallion, and Joachim, who suddenly unleashes a clutch of frost grenades into the faculty fellows.
Brian,
As the grenade-
Brian,
just a second.
Brian.
Yeah.
Does that involve rolls?
Yes, it does.
Puppets of
Fate.
fate.
Okay, I'm going to have to re-roll his fucking roll now. Just give me a second. Okay. As the grenades detonate, two of the mages make it under their tables before the grenades go off, thanks to your puppets of fate.
Right.
The third is frozen stiff in a blast of ice and frost. Their assailant, Joachim, rushes to the side of the Bursa as they try to fight their way clear of the chamber. At the same time, several students from the gallery, loyal to Mordraine's faction, it would seem, open fire on the sword mages below. The Battle of Starsreach Academy has begun.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Absolutely not.
And we're right in the middle of it.
Indeed
Yeah.
you are. And we'll pick up from there next week.
Oh my
Oh,
god. That was
This is why I
amazing.
didn't want you to bring up that murder. Because us bringing up that murder
Mhm.
would have looked like us using it.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Whereas I wanted him to sit there and stew that I was using language to say, do not turn your face away from injustice.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I wasn't just talking about the injustices, I was talking about specifically that one,
Mm-hmm.
as well as them all, saying to him, you can no longer turn away.
Well, thank you very much for coming today. I hope you've enjoyed the game. We'll pick it up from there next week. What we will do is we'll hang around just a little bit longer to talk about what's just happened. And I'm going to do the closing part now, but we will continue to record and we'll continue to broadcast. So anybody who's interested in our bollocking on about what just happened can listen for the next 20 minutes. Those of you who just want to listen to the actual play, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed watching our humble little game tonight. I've been Brian F. Irving. I work for Gethsemane Games on DH9 Radio. I created Fallen Kingdom and all the maps we're using. The rules system we're using, however, was not one of ours. That's by a different company entirely. That's by Green Ronin Games. Do check them out at greenronin.com as well. The Fantasy Age system is a great system, as you can tell, because we're using it for our new setting that we're working on. Just before we go over to disseminate what's happened tonight, for those who are interested, I believe, Jenny, you have something to say?
Yes, please go and follow our Twitter account at Gethsemane Games. You'll be able to get all the updates there, and also I believe you should be checking out a certain somebody's Patreon account.
That would be mine. That's Brian F. Irving on Patreon.
Yeah.
Where you can lay your hands on a great many of the maps that I make, other adventure materials, other systemless adventures, and so on as well.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for watching. If you're going to drop out after this before we have our little bit of a chat, then thank you very much. Do stay safe, take care, and we'll see you at the same time next week.
Bye.
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 For those of you who would like to stay around a little bit longer and hear what we have to say about what just occurred, then do stay around. You're welcome to join us. So, how did you feel about that?
Oh,
Ribbit.
Honestly, nothing will ruin a speech more. I've seen a politician give a speech where somebody had a terrible attack of the hiccup, and even though they were talking about really serious nuclear disarmament, by the time they were 20 minutes on, none of us could stop laughing because this guy just kept hiccuping. He just would not stop hiccuping, and that's what gave me the idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah, that was.
Can I ask? Out of all of the positives and negatives, who accumulated the most negatives in the speech?
Probably me.
I think
it was a bit of a tiebreaker between you and Jenny.
Really?
But there was nothing either of you did wrong. It was just that some of the points you were making, the majors would have actively been opposed to.
Right.
So, for example, the negative that you got is Edward, you got a -1 for saying we did nothing wrong, because almost the entire faculty knew damn well why you were at the meeting that got raided. So they knew that was a lie, so that was a penalty straight away.
Right.
Jenny, you got a -1 when you said you're not even allowed to practice your faith because most of the majors are not followers of the same faith.
I was referring to the friends and family, but I didn't make it very clear.
Yeah, and some of the majors are not as smart as they think they are, including the games master.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. This is why I didn't want Edward to explain the Dryads prophecy, because the point of a prophecy is everybody makes their own interpretation, and they are all mages. They would know that.
Yeah.
So they would be left to interpret it themselves, and they like to think they're clever. So
having said that, every one of you also supplied bonuses to the roll. So, for example, Edward got a +1 for well, I just noted down +1 for Edward's general impassioned speech, and a +1 for people are afraid to speak openly, because as an academy, one of the things that they hold dear to them is the ability to speak freely. So when Edward brought up that people were openly, that people were no longer willing to speak openly, that got you another +1 there. Jenny, you scored 1 for if we look upon. Sorry, that was Marie. I didn't make notes of names here. You would be. I can't read my own handwriting here. You would be under their control. It would be addicted. A lot of the points you made, Marie had already made, so I didn't add another +1 for that.
just sort of reiterating because a lot of them were the same.
Yeah.
Like from last week and everything. What I said that I'm probably saying we were talking about similar things basically.
Yeah, but you did get a +1 for you would be made, you would be under his control. Because again, control is not
True.
something that the mage's particularly happy with. And Marie got bonuses for if we look upon evil and do nothing. And
Thank you, Malcolm X.
yes, and he holds one of your own in a cell.
Yes.
So in total, you had plus 5 minus. Oh, so +6 minus 2. So you actually had a +4 bonus on balance by the time you'd spoken.
That's not bad.
Plus the -2 that the frog trick inflicted on Amblev made a massive difference as well, because that gave you essentially a 6-point advantage there. So her 18 became 16. You rolled 16, and then you had so many pluses. Just
Like a 20 actually we got.
yeah, I mean you did really well because Amblev is a character that is not particularly powerful in combat, but in social combat, on the other hand, her communication skill is 7. And her persuasion focus is another 2, so she gets +9 just for opening her mouth.
What ours? My communication is a 0.
Mine's 2.
Mine's 1.
So on paper, you were completely outclassed because
Even if you add us all up,
of her
we're
massive.
nowhere near.
Yeah, exactly. Her massive. However, having said that, there were actually fewer floating voters in amongst the thing than you thought. There was only a handful of people that you really needed to convince. So let me just have a quick look,
It
and
was
I'll tell you
interesting
what swung them all.
about Etienne as well.
Yes, I thought that might take you by surprise.
Yes, very much so.
So it is the can't find the damn thing now. Battle of Starsreach faculty meet. There we go. So let me just roll down to. Sorry,
I was also surprised by the anger of the Chancellor as well, but
that
also
was the
not
murder.
At the same time.
The murder.
That was the murder. And if you hadn't brought the murder to him, then you wouldn't have gained the +1 you got for that.
Right.
And also, we didn't bring it up in the speeches.
Yes.
Exactly.
Deliberate. It was a deliberate decision. I mean, you heard me talking to Ben about that. It was a deliberate decision not to bring it up because somebody's death. We use somebody's death as political capital,
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas the Chancellor using it,
it would have looked bad.
That's right. If you'd used it, you would have lost the +1 that you gained for him having learned about it.
Yes.
And he'd learned about it because you chose to report it just in time. So let me just see who the swing voters were in the second vote, shall we? So Etienne, if Amblev's persuasion roll is the highest of the 2, then he will abstain. If the party rolls higher, then he votes war. Solomon, if the party failed to beat Amblev's score, then he votes neutrality or abstain. Oh no, neutrality. Yeah. So he was never going to abstain. He was either going to say we stay out of it or we join the war. So that those 2 were both people you swung by your convention performance, and Scallion was another one. If Amblev's had been the highest, he would have abstained, but because you managed to beat her, that swung him over to war. And the Chancellor swung because he learned about the murder, and he does. And one of the things that was making him angry when Edward was going like, "We'll just arrest him. We'll just arrest him," was he knew that he had no legitimacy to do that, and that the only way he could would be to throw away his neutrality. But now that he's decided to do that anyway, they will actually just send a squadron of Griffin Riders into Starsreach to snatch the guy. So
then it's technically Ben's discussion with him did then help the swing.
Ben's discussion with him absolutely did help the swing. That's what he was so angry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Edward's insistence kept driving the point home to him that he wasn't going to be able to do what he wanted to do, which was to stay neutral.
Yeah.
So
and you'd be
whilst the
playing on his
Chancellor,
mind.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whilst the Chancellor was extremely angry about the whole thing, only half of his anger was actually at Edward. The other half was at himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's frustration.
His
Basically.
frustration. Yeah.
Frustration that is their position was rapidly becoming untenable, that they can no longer sit there in their castle saying we're the intellectuals and we are neutral,
Yes.
because there is no neutrality in this.
And it
There's
was the
no
first
neutrality.
murder
Sorry?
ever.
First
And
murder
it was
ever in.
the first murder ever in Starsreach.
Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
And you have to say, you have to have some kind of come back on that. You have to say to people, if you kill our mages within our walls, then
We'll
we
act.
call
Yeah.
war.
Yeah.
You know, you have to. It has to be a massive and overwhelming response, because otherwise everyone thinks they can do it. Or we'll only give them a wee slap on the wrist. We only told them they couldn't have magic or whatever. This is like, you murdered one of us, so we're coming to war.
Yeah. Aye.
You
So
know.
here's an interesting question: how did you all feel as players during the bit at the end where the votes are being cast?
I genuinely thought I'd fucked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely thought, when you said, when I put the frog up and you said one of them was disapproving.
Yes. Oh, you
I
did.
thought-
You did lose a point for that, actually.
Yeah,
So all
I
three
mean,
of you
it was-
managed to.
It
to
was
lose some
that
points.
was basically the frog. That was not actually about any of them. It was about her. It
Yeah.
was to say to her,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can fuck your life with a frog.
Mhm.
You know, I can really, really mess up your shtick, and all I need is one little frog.
It was worth it.
It was to
definitely.
to make her look pompous,
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
and to have people think of her not as Amblev Eskew, the envoy of Mordraine, the ruler of the
Kind of
kingdom.
make her look a bit silly, I suppose.
But to make her look silly, and to deliberately pick points where it looked as if the frog was ribbiting because she was talking absolute rot.
So,
You know, oh, I'm sorry about the frog. He only ribbits when you tell a lie.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, the ribbon
It's-
only sounds a little bit like rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Exactly.
It's one of those. You know, and
I loved
it's
it.
yeah.
so how about the rest of you? How did you feel during that part of the thing?
Well, I figured I'd probably cocked up some stuff, but like that was, I was only going to be there to just back up other people's points anyway, because my character isn't really great at communication anyway, and neither am I. So,
I think you're
but
doing
when
fine.
everything was revealed at the end, it was great. It was like, yeah, I loved it. It was
Good.
really good.
Good. So
I mean,
I was
I
like,
thought we did. I thought we did pretty well. Like
did.
Marie, especially, she gave a good and passionate speech. So
Oh yeah,
that
definitely.
was really
Yeah.
good. And when the voting was going on, I mean, obviously I was confident that we did enough, but yeah, it was
That's-
kind
I
of
love.
that's
nerve-wracking.
interesting because you're the first person to say you were confident you'd done enough.
Right. Okay.
Lars, how did you feel during that bit?
Well, towards the very end, when like all hell broke loose, all I thought was, "Oh, the battle for Hogwarts has begun."
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
So, Lady Askew, is there anything like diplomatic immunity that applies to like her? Because she
Not
was there
anymore.
on behalf
Not-
of
yeah.
someone else. Not anymore.
Yeah, not
so
anymore.
she's just going to be.
She's a
Yeah.
murderer.
It's
or-
not
I
really
don't
a
actually
concept.
think.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that she supports Mordraine. Like, that's why I was wanting to flirt with her and, ask her a couple questions. Because it doesn't actually seem like she wants to, have him on his big, like, golden throne.
Either
She's
that
a
or
very
that's an-
complicated character. Yeah.
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 Well, the thing is like, if you hang your coat on a peg next to a usurper, you better make sure you've got allies for when that shaky peg comes down, because
Exactly.
Yeah.
that's
So I
basically.
think.
Only
You
it's
finish what
all
you said.
diplomats do the whole. Oh well, I really, really hate to do this, but and then they do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I mean,
I think we should keep an eye on her, and maybe when the time's right, she might actually join us. So I don't think that she necessarily agrees with him. Like she said herself, she wants it. She said she wanted everything to be fair, which obviously isn't a dictatorship.
She's going about it in a kind
Yeah,
of
well,
way, but you know.
yeah, she's a extremely complicated character, and one who may or may not make it out of this this next part of the act. This is Act 2. This is the last part of Act 2, and then Act 3 will be you starting to round people up. So you might wind up going to Starswater to capture the capture the murderer. You might go to Valen Ford to rescue Fester.
Yes.
There was at least one other thing I said you had a lead for. I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, even when you were talking about leaving the map, I mean, the idea is that Traitors' fate is supposed to be centered on this part of the kingdom. But if you do wander beyond it, you'd kind of wander beyond the bounds of this particular adventure. But there is other stuff going on. It is kind of sandboxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want
I personally think that. I was going to say, I personally think that maybe we should try and at least keep Eskew alive. I mean, personally, I would think about like maybe saving her, but that would just mess up everything we've done. So obviously we can't do that.
I mean, if she's dead, Rowena can still talk to her. Just saying.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think it would be really useful to have her on our side, especially if Mordraine doesn't find out. But there's obviously massive risk involved with that.
Not sure I could really trust her, to be honest. But...
Yeah, that's the risk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, can you ever really trust diplomats?
no. The thing about a diplomat is a diplomat always has a degree of self-interest first.
Yes.
It's a necessity for the job, really. And also them saying, oh, well, I would like things to be fairer. It's very much skewed to their notion of fairer, not necessarily your own notion of fairer. So a diplomat's a complicated job, and complicated people do it, as Brian said,
So I'm just popping up a larger picture of her so you can get the sensation of the flowing coat that I mentioned as she came in, which is all part of the what do you
the
call
act,
it?
really.
Yeah.
The theatrics of it,
The
because
theatrics
half
of it.
of politics is theatre. It's
Exactly.
this is the whole thing. It was like I say, when I went to that talk on nuclear disarmament, and a very serious man stood up to give a very serious talk, and the whole thing, I can't remember a word he said. All I remember is hiccups. The whole of that thing was completely what people by the end of it, like when we all sorry, Jenny.
No, I was just saying, agreeing with you. It's just that sort of thing can make someone or something look absurd.
I am just going to briefly take you over to the Academy Council chamber map that we didn't need to use at the time.
Is it a star chamber? Is it?
No. And I'm largely going to do this because I need to make some adjustments to it.
Jeez, it's huge.
It is quite big.
Is that based on the chamber at Durham Cathedral?
Nope, I just made that based on what I had in my mind.
Is this a combat that we're going to go into? Usurper Group 1.
Yes. This is the combat as the Bursa and Joachim break for the escape, and the usurper's agents open fire on the sword mages. You will
Brian,
notice
these two, are they still frozen?
No, that's why I came over here to change the map a bit, because they're not actually going to be in the grip of the grenade because
I'm
of
really glad
Marie's thingy. So I need to change their.
I'm really glad I decided to put my armor and everything back on.
I mean, to be honest, To be
without
honest,
weapons.
I thought that was probably the best bet for both of you, because if things went south, we'd have had to run.
Yeah.
Even if
I
they
didn't
declared
think I'd need
neutrality,
the
even
armor.
if they declared neutrality, right?
Mm.
What basically Amblev is likely to have done is she'd likely to have said to them, "You say you're neutral, and yet you hold members of the rebellion
I mean, yeah,
within your walls. Hand
yeah.
them over to us if you're truly neutral." We'd have had to run. And if they declared for that side, we'd definitely have had to run.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah. We would have been
We'd have
captured
been
or killed.
yeah, we'd have been out of there so fucking fast.
Yeah. I mean, as I say,
I
that.
still think people.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I still think people like the guard captain, people who are, more in favor of the rebellion, would probably like let us escape. Like, oh no, I accidentally dropped the keys. Kind of thing.
Well, yeah, we would have
Whatever.
had
There would have been an awful lot of people looking the other way, and the chances are
Yeah,
would have swelled their ranks anyway, because some of the students would have
Yeah.
done
Yeah,
the same.
yeah.
I mean, I think, to be honest, some of them will still. They've already joined Mordraine.
Yeah.
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 You know.
Yeah, there are several in this combat that you're going to be involved in. Now, what's placed on the table there are the combatants. When you next see this map, it'll be cluttered with civilians that are going to be getting in the way as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you might as well do while we're here is go ahead and roll initiative. I'm just going to clear it off.
Oh no, keep my 21. I see that. Oh no.
Go ahead and roll your initiative ready
We're
for next
gonna
time.
need our pogs.
Yeah, you're on there. You're at the
Come
top
on.
Jesus
there.
Christ on a bike.
You're
Oh.
up the top there.
At least we're not at -2 for everything now, seeing as we've declared war.
Never mind, I'll keep this roll, thanks.
That's fucking good, isn't it?
Oh wow.
It's a hell of a lot better than mine.
Yeah, it is a bit better than yours, isn't it?
And
So
mine.
Oh god.
Baylor at 10 and Baylor scored 6. Marie's managed to add herself in twice.
Should I
Oh shit, no, I think I've just dumped everybody in twice because I think I'd somehow managed to have the whole group.
Yeah, you have.
So Sandrina, I'll leave her in on 0 so she can roll and add it later. So Celeste's duplicate can come out. Edward's duplicate can come out. Baylor will be on 6. That means between now and next week, I can roll the initiative for all the combatants.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And I
Someone is.
and
Well, I mean, good luck. Good luck to them trying to come before me.
descending.
tables look right behind?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of cover for this fight. There's
And we've got the
see this
council
one,
on our
this
team.
table right here? That's the one me and Toadie will be under.
yeah. So yeah, when you see this map next, there'll be a lot of civilian clutter in the way as well. And what you will notice, in fact, Ben's already noticed that some of the combatants are listed in groups. That's to speed up initiative, so I can just group 3 and group 2, group 1, rather than every individual combatant. Also, part of this battle will be narrated, so only the parts that you're directly involved in will be diced for and run normally. So rather than me try to do like a roll for every combatant, including all the council, what I have is a little table of shit what happens during the course of the fight, right? And we actually play through the bits that you're directly involved with. So anybody you're attacking, you roll, they roll. Any NPCs that are not actually interacting with you but only with each other, we just have a table to handle all that, so we don't we don't bog it down too much.
I mean, a good thing is a bunch of the mages on our side are stupidly high level.
Yes, that's right.
And the guard captain as well, and he's
Yeah.
quite strong.
Yeah.
And I want to say as well, I love the way that you had it all build up with the votes and everything, and then it got to the chancellor, and we declared war and everything. I'm trying to be quiet so I don't wake anybody up, but like I'm so ready to like shout and squeal and stuff. Just couldn't because I'm trying
Is Lanken with us?
Lanken wasn't with you in the chamber, but he'll be on his way to because he wasn't really expecting much of this.
No, Lanken was probably downstairs sorting the horses, thinking these stupid bastards are going to have to run.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
He's going to hear that, like, well, what will probably happen is he'll hear the fighting start throughout the academy, because it's not just going to be in the council room.
Well,
Yeah, and then you'll hear the horn.
Because next,
yeah, the horn.
and the horn of Eskew. Literally everybody in the kingdom will hear it because it's magical.
Yeah. that's
So it doesn't
cool.
matter where you are in the kingdom. If you can hear, you will hear the horn of Eskew sound, and you'll know that the academy's declared war on somebody for the first time ever.
I love.
Yeah, and Mordraine will be like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Or Mordraine might be like, yeah, and then he'll be like, oh shit.
And you know, I mentioned earlier that there's a reason I have the stats for the Griffins prep. And you were saying, "Oh, I've got to see the Griffins." Essentially, the end of Act 2 is a series of battles scattered across the academy, various places that Mordraine's forces are trying to seize for one reason or another. And you will get to choose which of those individual fights you get involved in. I've also got a list of what will happen at any one where the players don't alter the outcome. So I already know who will win at the Griffin area. I already know who will win at the other target places that will come into play during the fight, such as the oh fuck's sake!
The Griffin Riders don't win, I'll be disappointed.
But I only know that if you guys don't get involved. If you do get involved in a particular area, it could change the outcome. So I might know, for example, that Mordraine's forces hold the alchemical stores and are distributing healing potions and explosives amongst their own forces. And they will continue to hold that for quite some time unless you guys get involved and change the outcome. I already know what will happen at the Griffin area unless you guys get there and change the outcome. I already know what will happen. So you can literally choose which parts of the battle you get involved in and which you don't. And some of them will be lasting long enough that you could do one and then still make it to another. Some of them won't. So some of them it'll be a choice. If we do this, we can't do that one.
Right.
And others it'll be, well, we could do that one and the other one will still be going on long enough. But you might not know which ones are going to last long. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I've not done a large-scale battle like this for a long time, but I did it in Rifts once and it's amazing fun.
Yeah.
To do.
I'm pretty excited about all of this.
Yeah. But this week was largely role-playing. Next week will largely be combat.
Oh, that's fine by me.
And after that, you've got either a rescue mission or a snatch and grab and arrest to make, or both. It's quite possible as well.
Both would probably be good.
Yeah. So is there any other comments you want to make or anything you want to talk about from today's episode before we call it a night?
Well, I think
No, it was fun. I liked it.
Good.
Super exciting.
Yes.
I just want to give a shout out to the Nerdy Up North podcast, who very kindly put a post in their group today asking if anybody had any YouTube channels or podcasts that they wanted to advertise.
Cool.
And they allowed me to advertise this. So welcome to anyone who's listening and to any new subscribers.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Nerdy Up North. And sorry about the technical issue that happened in the middle when my OBS stream crashed. And it took me about 10 minutes to get it back up and running again. Obviously, when this goes over to YouTube, I will have cut all of that together and taken out the bit in the middle where it's sort of just reconnecting, and you can still hear me going, "For fuck's sake, this damn thing!" I'll cut that bit out.
You want to cut that bit out?
Honestly, I will have quite a lot of editing to do today, largely because of the crash that happened slap in the middle of the damn thing. But there's one or two other bits of editing I'll do while I'm in as well, I think. But anyway, glad you enjoyed it. I should say as well, I should probably have mentioned this earlier. When NPCs are angry at you, that doesn't mean to say I am angry at you. It means they are angry at your character.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
sometimes,
Oh, I know.
yeah. So sometimes you'll get characters like the
Chancellor.
Chancellor, who's he's a difficult man.
He's an arse.
He's an arse, and he's based largely on me.
Yeah, but
He's not really. He's not really. I'm not normally quite as bad as the Chancellor. He's kind of my worst traits exaggerated.
Yeah.
And I like to think of Lady Amblev as my best traits massively exaggerated. In that she is a servant of evil, and so am I. No, that's not true. That is not true. Okay, I'm a servant of our cat, which, I mean, some people could argue is the same thing.
And all our little wizards.
Yes. Right, well, anyway, thank you very much. I'm going to turn in for the night because I'm up early tomorrow to get up to the studio. And hopefully I might get time to do some of the editing on this tomorrow. If not, it won't be up till the weekend. But that's when we usually advertise it as going up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Do take care, and I will see you all later.
Thank you. See you later.
Those of you who stayed around for the chat afterwards, thank you very much. I hope there was something in that was enjoyable. By the way, if you ever want to ask us any questions about the podcast, you can do that too by emailing me. Probably best to use my thingy email. What's it called? Email. Oh, fuck's sake. DH9 Radio.
DH9?
Yeah. So it's dh9radio@mail.com. That's dh9radio@mail.com. You could email my Gethsemane Games email, but people keep misspelling it and having it bounce. So just send it to the DH9 Radio email is probably the best. Okay, thank you very much. Stay safe, take care. We'll see you all next week when the Battle of Starsreach Academy really gets underway. Good night.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Bye.
See you.